That doesn't work. Okay, devs. All right. Awesome. Hello. Welcome. Good morning, you guys. How was the weekend? I have returned back. How you guys doing? Good morning. Awesome. Hello. Yeah, let's wait a bit for everyone to dribble in. Today we're going to talk to the GNOMES dev. And I've written down some of your questions. I've given him most of the questions, and I'm gonna leak. Am I? Let me see, is there a preview here? Is this leaking something? No. Okay, good. Hello. We're also going to do a key giveaway of the game GNOMES today. So for those of you who would like to have a key, I think I have 3 or 4. I'm not sure yet how many I have, cause he gave one to me, but I already had the game, so might be 4. We'll do that throughout the stream. Now that I think about it, actually, need to open up the giveaway stuff. Hope you guys had a good weekend. How's it going? When's the interview, Cakes? The interview is in a couple of minutes. We already have set up everything.
Just join.
We're just gonna wait for a couple of people to dribble in. Yo, my man,
Please
Mr.
keep your functions shorter than 5 lines.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Codingry. Hello, Hobbly Gobbly. Nature Snack, Badger, little old boy. How you guys doing? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hi. Yeah, I'm happy. It's awesome to talk to someone. It's awesome to talk to someone who has got more experience than we do and has already managed to ship a product, especially lately, since, you know, over time things change in Steam, of course, right? It's never gonna stay the same. And so having someone to talk to, you know, bounce ideas off of each other, get some inspiration and help, especially help. Like when I started, I wanted to talk to so many people so badly. But you never really have the chance to do that, do you? Especially when no one knows you. Because there's just so many people that want to do that. Exciting day, yeah? What's going on for you, man? Don't you have more experience since you're making a game for... okay, you're wrong, bro. You're such a lie. I'm actually going to ban you for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, man. Kinda toxic, bro. Because you're lying. Good morning on YouTube. Hello there. Da ist er, my man, Ambien. Oh, Don, my man, good morning. Hey, Cakez, good morning. Yeah, good morning to you too, bro. Oh, Mr. AQ, thank you very much for subscribing. Appreciate it, man. Most of the questions going to be focused around diversity in video games. Yes, very important topic. Need to talk about that thing, since most of the AAA titles focus on that too. There's got to be an important thing, right? So yeah, hey, by the way, guys, get some traction to this post. Hopefully there's more people. How do I copy the link of this, by the way? I don't use this website at all. How do I copy a link to this post, guys? Do I click on it? Oh, I see. You just click. Huh? Can I not click in this bar? Huh? What's going on here? I'm clicking. You see that? Huh? What's going on? Is that because Steam is dying here? Click this. Now, guys, I want you to behave today, okay? Be nice, okay? Anyone that's not nice will get banned, okay? We have a guest on stream today, so behave, okay? I don't know why I have to say this, but I have to. Unfortunately, with these people here. No help? Okay, there we go. So, guys, give it some give it some traction if you can. Might help out some people find the stream. Toxic streamer? I'm not toxic. Actually not. Okay, so let me see if I've done everything that we need to do. So this is this page here. We're gonna play GNOMES while we talk to him. The questions are over here. There we go. The keys are over here. Oh yeah, I forgot the key website here. That's what I need to put to the right. Let me find that giveaway. The giveaway. Here, there it is. Hey. Actually, I found that giveaway.
Am I so out of touch?
Nightbot TV.
Action81 just subscribed. Cakez7 Milady.
My man. Mr. AQ. Okay, I'll put that on this tab. I wonder if this works.
Hello.
Probably have to log in again. Yes, authorize. Yeah, I'm waiting a little bit for some more people to join. I also don't want to drag it on for too much keyword. There we go. So we have the giveaway here as well. Next. And I guess we can already start doing a giveaway. Let me see. This only happens on Twitch, by the way. Okay. Yeah, I can't really put it in a title. Who cares? I'm just gonna say we do a giveaway, and the giveaway is for everyone. It's not gonna be join, guys. It's going to be gnomes. I don't think capitalizing changes anything. What does unique winners mean? Probably not the same person can get it twice, right? Anymore. Yeah, and then like here to see that I'm not lying, you don't have to subscribe. Should I do this, guys? I can only give subscribers 10 more luck. Hey, if you sub to the stream, you're gonna have a 10%. No, actually, how much is it? 100 times more. Go, go, go. No, it's just gonna be one. It's fine. Okay, so now type gnomes in chat if you want to participate in a giveaway, and then remind me please to give out keys. It's gonna be 4 keys that we're gonna give out, or 3, because I have 4, but maybe only 3 work. Not sure. Okay.
Hello.
Can I refund a gifted game? Okay, so I'm not gonna give it to you. Hello, Mr. Gabriel. Good morning, first-time chatter, and Mr. Bro and Knight as well. Oh God, where are these first-time chatters coming from, huh? You guys just want free stuff. I knew it. See, there's got to be like a bot system. I've never had that many first-time chatters in my life, bro. There's got to be some system on Twitch that detects giveaways, and then they just join your chat. I see. That's how people get more viewers. I see. So I need to gift away more stuff. Okay, guys, shall we start now? What do you think? We good? 7 minutes? Let's wait till 10 minutes, like 2 more minutes, and then we'll start. Okay, so in 2 minutes. G2A farming. We watch on YouTube? I see. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a better platform to watch on. In the future, at least. Hey, I just got here. There were talks about giveaways. Ha, don't ban me, please. Okay. So, let's see. I'll put up gnomes already. There we go. Let's put this to the left. Let's hope this works. There we go. Oh, so I can only do new game? I thought I actually had this done already. I did. That is, yeah. So this is my progress in the game. Let's see how that looks on stream. Oh, you guys can see it. Oh, you can. No, you can. Okay. Let me make sure the camera is in a good position. There we go. You know when it's bad when a new chat has to say, okay, so let me turn off the music. So here we go. Let me see. He's ready, I think. Yep, he is. Let's hope this works. Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, man. How are you?
Awesome. I think chat can hear you too. Let me turn on the camera. Oh, I guess the camera moved.
Did I move? Maybe I moved.
Thank you. Oh, wait.
Hi, guys.
Wait. No, wait. There we go. Oh, look at the professional setup, guys. Huh?
We're all about big budget. If you guys don't have budgets for your games, you don't have a chance. Trust me.
Hello, this is Tommy, one of the developers of GNOMES, and he's gonna give an interview today on how they did it, what they learned when making it, how they formed the team. Basically, an all-around package. He vanished. Noddy.
I'm gone. I'm here. I'm still here.
Oh, I see. I need to keep it open, I think. I need to keep it open. Then it stays, right?
All right, cool.
Okay, I'll keep it in check. Yeah, so essentially, this is what's gonna happen today. I'm gonna play a little bit. We're gonna ask him some questions, and I'll disable the notifications because they get annoying. And if you guys have any additional questions, we have written some down already. You can put them in chat, and I think you're reading the chat, right?
Yeah, I can see it. Funny comment I saw before. Can I refund a gifted game? Nice call, dude. Well done. I'd do the same thing.
Okay, awesome. So I think it's best you can just explain who you are, right? And to give the people that are watching the idea, okay, who are we actually talking to, right? And then we could just go along.
Guys, my name's Tommy McKay. I've been making a game called GNOMES with my friend Patrick for the last bit over a year now. And yeah, it's turned out to be a little bit of a sleeper hit from what people are telling me. So hopefully some of you guys have tried it. But yeah, I'd love to share what we did that I think really made it work and what I would do differently next time. But most importantly, you know, hopefully everyone at all different levels of development skill can take something away from what we talk about today.
Awesome. Yeah, and for me, it's also awesome to talk to someone who I would consider has a lot of experience. I'm actually very interested in that. Like, how long have you been making games so far? Because oftentimes this gets a little bit, it's not talked about, and then you see 10 months for the game. How did they do it?
Well, first of all, 10 months is a little bit of a marketing quote. We had worked together for a little bit longer than that, but the project we worked on, we actually scrapped it. So it was a little like top-down kind of bullet hell action roguelike called Spellslinger that had a bit of inspiration from Noita. It was a really cool idea, but we just realized pretty quickly that it was going to take us 2 or 3 years to make, and we just didn't have that kind of time budget. So after a few months of cooking, we pivoted to GNOMES, and yeah, it really glad we did, because it just came together so quickly and it was really well received. So yeah, I'm very happy with the result so far. But to answer the rest of the question, my start, I actually got started out as a sound designer and a composer many years ago. Unfortunately, none of the games I was contracted for ever actually made any money, but it taught me what not to do. So you know, we can talk a little bit. We can talk a little bit about that, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Because to quickly chime that in, I think it's important to learn that you can have a good, successful first game, but you don't really understand maybe why.
Yeah, right? Of course. I always say a lot of people say they've got imposter syndrome, but I actually am an imposter because I'm not a very good programmer at all. So I would say like novice to intermediate at best. But my strategy is usually like make friends with a GigaChad programmer who can solve all the technical problems, and then I turn it into something that has some appeal and gets the audience excited.
That's where the Rust dev comes in, right?
Yeah, exactly right. His name's Patrick. He's I call him a wizard. He spends a lot of time doing what we call the deep scrolls.
Yeah, I mean, well, I would love to talk to him too, but maybe we should learn Rust first, right? Then we have some questions to ask, and that's, I think, is an interesting, is an interesting question. How did you even meet? Because most people just start out alone and they don't know anyone.
Well, I actually was already making another game. You guys might have heard of a game called Sea of Survivors. That was some of my work that I made with a couple of other friends, and we were at a Gamedev meetup together, and yeah, Patrick just waltzed on in and we hit it off, and we kept chatting on Discord afterwards, and there was a bit of quiet downtime that I had, and I said, hey, let's just maybe cook up a little prototype and see if we can do something cool. And he said, as long as I can use Rust. And I said, no, it doesn't bother me none. You're the one programming it. Yeah, so we just basically met at like an IRL event, which is pretty rare these days. Most people meet online. I think what I would say though is, if you can do everything on your own and you like the workflow of working on your own, then you know there's no reason to have a partner. But for me, it was, I really like being able to just take complete ownership of the creative stuff and just know that someone's really capable and handling all the technical stuff in the back end, really.
So that was what was happening in GNOMES, right? You were doing the art, and did you also do some gameplay programming or just the art?
Very basic gameplay programming, but what I call myself UX dad. So whenever Patrick creates a little feature, I'm the one that will go, okay, this is how this needs to work to be approachable. The big thing I really care about is having very little tutorialization in the game.
Awesome.
That's one thing that I think really sucks.
Yep.
Is when you pick up a demo and you're stuck 10 minutes of tutorial or 15 minutes of tutorial, you put it down before you even get through it. I'd say like the gold standard for me is something like Noita, a game that literally just tells you run this way, press F to kick, levitate with spacebar, and off you go. And then you just got to figure it all out yourself. So that's sort of the gold standard in my eyes.
Yeah, I think when I played GNOMES, I'm already past the tutorial step, but I don't think there was much that you do in terms of tutorials. I don't think it even teaches you how to place one of the gnomes. Well, it does that, like I click this, and this probably you're doing, right? Build my houses. And
yeah,
then the
sure,
shop.
And just the idea of making it like mouse only. You can play with hotkeys and all that kind of stuff, but we wanted just anyone at any skill level to just be able to pick the game up and go. One of the main things that we did in our tutorial was just basically set them up in the first couple of rounds, just so they've got what they need. They've got a basic economy, they've got a house, they've got a gnome, and it'll prompt them, hey, you can move your gnome again, which is basically the main, that's like our main mechanic that sets us apart as a TD. Is like we've got you can move your towers, brackets, gnomes. That's really what we focused on initially to try and get the eyeballs on the game. So yeah, we introduced that mechanic, and once you know that, you'll figure out the shop eventually, and we try to make it so that when you lose very decisively, so you can try again and try and have a better strategy from the start, because what you do on day one really, really matters in GNOMES.
It does, yeah. So basically, if you don't get enough money, because I think you're starting at 30 gold, then later down the line, you don't have enough money to support yourself. Right?
Yeah, and every day you get paid by your crops. So if you have an extra 2 or 3 days of your crops, then, at the end, that really adds up, doesn't it?
Yeah. Okay. So what I found interesting, what you just keyed on, was that you showcased this mechanic of being able to move the towers, aka the gnomes, between rounds. How did you do that? Like that to get interest? Was it just a Reddit post, or did you talk about it online to other people? What did you do to show that mechanic so that people get interested?
Well, it was actually one of the first ideas we had. So the two core ideas that we had when we got started was movable towers, and then also the expanding map. And that's actually how the theme of gnomes came about, because we thought, what would be an interesting tower that could be something you'd move? And we thought, oh well, what are your garden gnomes up to at night? You put them in this spot. Are they gonna, when you move them a bit later on, are they gonna face a different direction and protect your garden from evil spirits or whatever, or in this case, goblins? When we showcased it, the big thing was to make it juicy as fuck. That's the long and the short of it. Every time you move the gnome, he makes a little noise and he swishes, and the path clicks into a different position. So there's a lot of visual and audio feedback. We try to make it feel really tangible, because it's like the thing that you're doing hundreds and hundreds of times each run. So it was really easy. Every trailer that we did, it was front and center, and people could figure it out pretty quickly. I found that GIFs on Reddit were really, really helpful. But yeah, the biggest thing was really once we got it into the hands of streamers and they actually showed people how to play the game, that's when it just really took off for
When it took off, yeah. And you did that by collecting emails, I would assume. And then you asked them, hey, you want to test out the demo? Right?
Yeah, exactly. I actually sent them keys before the demo, so like playtest keys. So about a week before the demo came out, so that they were all already dropping videos. Then we put the demo live, and I think it was like the day that we put the demo live, Splattercat played it, which was just
Damn.
We were off to the races at that point. Yeah, like I think that was 5,000 wish lists in a few days, which was
that's
I tell you
insane.
what,
Yeah,
the relief when that happened. Yeah, the relief when that happened, because we were sitting on about 2,500 when we released the demo, just going, oh, what have we done? Are we gonna have a chance here? And yeah, once people like Splattercat, Wonderbot, Alexa, and you know the big guys you want playing it picked it up, that's when we really knew that we were kind of onto something.
Yeah, and I think you touched on that. The wish lists do start very slowly. You open up your Steam page and you can do your best job as much as you can. And then I feel like the next big step after doing that is, and it has to happen, I think, now maybe you can touch on that too, relatively soon. You need to put out the demo. So like you get your Steam page and then you do a play test to iron out the bugs. And then the demo has to be stellar and you bring it out to the people so that the wish lists don't slow down to and maybe crash, even crash down. What do you think about that?
What I would say is the Steam page should go up when you have a trailer that has the final-ish art style. So the art in our first ever trailer looks pretty much exactly like this. And we also had basically settled on 90% of the primary mechanics. We ended up adding features after the fact once we knew that we had a bit of interest. But the reality is when you put your trailer out, you're basically testing your game in the market. And if the market doesn't respond to your game, then you probably should, you know, not invest too much more time.
Move on,
but
maybe.
Luckily for us, you know, luckily for us, we were still getting, you know, anywhere from, you know, 10 to 50 wish lists a day without a demo. I don't really think you need to rush your demo. I mean, wish lists don't expire. They're going to stick around forever. I think what's more important is that your demo is bulletproof, and that when you do release your demo, you make a really big deal about it and you put it in front of as many content creators as you can. You kick and scream on Reddit or X or whatever platforms you're using. Because if you can get enough people to play your demo, Steam will share your demo for you, which is really, 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 I think Steam's the biggest thing out of everything that people don't realize. Steam does most of the hard work for you.
Yeah, I think so too, because Steam just has such a massive player pool, and you talked about having a trailer out, and I would like to go a bit deeper into the trailer, because you could say the same about GNOMES. GNOMES is a tower defense game. You have different maps. You could even say biomes. We are currently in, I think, the swamp area, and before then this was the forest area. When you make a trailer, obviously you don't want to repeat too many images, but you might not have all of the content done yet. Let's say you are 5 months down into development and you maybe have 2 biomes, but do you think you need to add some more different looking visuals, even if the gameplay is not there yet, because you haven't done these biomes yet, for example?
Can I show you a trailer that I really think is a perfect example? Have you got Steam open right now?
Yeah, I have.
Can you check out Bone Razor Minions? Have you ever heard of that game?
No.
This game, when they released a trailer for this game, look how many sales or how many reviews they've got too. Bone Razor Minions, with an S, I think.
This here?
Raising from the Dead.
Wait, Bone. Bone. Was it? Yeah. This one.
Yep. So
Damn,
how many
3K.
reviews have they got? They're up to like
3.8K.
Watch how long the trailer is.
17 seconds. Holy.
So you don't need a long trailer, and this is the only trailer this guy's ever released for his game. So it's an absolute, it's an absolute fallacy that you need a 2-minute trailer. I've never really even made a trailer over a minute, but yeah, there's a fair few mobs and a fair bit of action going on there. But he's just got straight to the point, and there's plenty of juice. Like that's something you do have to do. Like make sure you got explosions and you've got you know plenty of I think the word is visceral factor, and that's something that the guys from Factorio came up with, or maybe someone else did. I don't know. Your German might make sense to you. Visceral factor. It means like lots of small moving parts.
Aha. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that's actually something you kind of have maybe not have that much of an issue with this, but I think you also edited the trailer a lot. Tower defense games are stable, like stationary. So, it always annoyed me. So I've made multiple trailers already, but it always pissed me off that it was just a stable image. And so like what you can do then only like you can do with deal with how do you call that? You zoom, right? Or what would you do?
Yeah. Look, I'm not the best editor. I've gone out of my way to watch some other trailers and stuff just to try and learn some tricks, but I always try and like edit to the beat. So whenever there's a transition, it's like to the beat of the song, and you know, zoom in and out here and there just to try and create some extra visual interest. I always actually overlay the sound effects so they're extra loud in the trailer too. Like when you hit the shop icons, it makes like the cash register noise, and I also have this like sound effects which I make with my face that I have put in the game, and I put it in the trailer each time something interesting happens. But like you basically we don't have the right to put like a big intro and everything in because we're not AAA studios with reputation. We've got to basically make a TikTok short is what we have to do with our trailer. That's
actually a good point. I like that a lot. TikTok short, because it is below a minute, and then you just put in as much juicy stuff as possible. Because your trailer is, I can see now where your trailer comes from, because your trailer is fast. When I saw it the first time, I gotta be honest, I couldn't understand anything because it was so quick.
That is some feedback we've had before, for sure. But I think what it is grabbing their attention and getting some of the appeal across is probably more important than fully explaining everything that's going on. Because it gives them a chance. If they're really interested, they can come check out the Steam page and wishlist it or try the free demo, I guess. Look, I'm very open to trailer criticism though, because I'm not a great editor. So if anyone has some advice or wants to volunteer to edit my next trailer, let me know. I'd be more than happy to take some help. But yeah, this is like the zero budget lifestyle. Like we've just got to be jacks of all trades. That's why I find someone like Patrick, who's just an awesome programmer, and then I will just basically go, all right, I take care of everything else. You just do what you do, you code, and I am basically your servant. So I'll make sure the audience is dealt with, I'll make sure all the art's done, I'll make sure all the sound's done, and I'll make sure that you don't drive us off a cliff.
Yeah, that's I think it's awesome. Now I've been doing this for 4 years now. I started as a web developer, and I realized pretty quickly that being able to split up work is just so helpful, because you can focus on what you like doing the most, and the other person got you covered. In your case, it's the coding. For me, it would be the art. I like coding more than art. It's definitely a long process to go and do this. And there's a quick question from Dev Spudges. I think it's not related, but he wants to have the massive banner for release with over 100k wish lists. I think it was on the marketing guy's website. Let me find that for you.
Oh, right. I actually might have mentioned that in another video. So yeah, from this is a little bit of hearsay, but from what I understand, if you get 100k wish lists, you get the big top spot on Steam. So that'll be like whatever when I took a screenshot the other day, it was the June game that just came out kind of thing. So it's always the real big guys. They don't really care though if it's someone like GNOMES who's got 100,000. If I had 100,000, they would have put me there, or you know, at least spoken to me about being put there. Recently in the back end, they've reached out and said, hey, do you guys want to be one of the headliners for Tower Defense Fest? So we'll feature in the trailer and stuff, and we also got offered a daily deal and that kind of stuff. So if Steam thinks your game's going to sell, or you know, you've got the wish list, they're going to go out of their way to make sure that you get the opportunity to be in front of as many people as possible.
So you're saying it is even possible for a small indie developer, if they reach 100,000 wish lists, to get there?
Oh yeah, Steam does not care who you are. They don't care if you're EA or Ubisoft or if you're just Cakez and Tommy. Like if you've got the wish list, that all Steam cares about is selling games at the end of the day.
Okay, that's great. So I think it was somewhere here in the article. I'm pretty sure you're aware of this article from How to Market a Game.
I did an interview with Chris.
Yeah, exactly. We read this on Friday. Actually, we went over this, and I actually don't. It must be here somewhere. There's actually, yeah, and here's where you talk about that you worked on Sea of Survivors. You actually keyed on this there too. It's still in early access. Like, are you actively working on it? How is that possible when you have managed to? Can't you just release it? What's missing?
There's finished content that hasn't been released yet, basically, is the deal with that game. There's 3 people working on that game, myself and 2 programmers. It was a really, really fun game to make, but we basically just sort of ran out of money, which is why I made GNOMES. And so the other guys that are working on that project are, well, working full-time jobs. So it's kind of trying to fit everything all together. I kind of just went and took it on the chin and was just poor for a year or so and forced myself through it. But yeah, look, the reality is I probably won't ever do an early access game again because it was very stressful just having the thing hanging over your head. You're releasing a brand new game and you don't even know if it's going to sell, and you've already promised to do more content for it, and you look like a total wanker if you don't finish your early access game. So we do have more. We have actually put a major content update out for that game, and we have one more major content update coming too. We've put a lot of effort into the last update, which is kind of like a bit of a Norse theme. And I made some really cool Viking sounding music, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, that game, just the reality is it just didn't quite earn enough for me to keep working on it.
I think it is. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I think it is 400 reviews right now. The Sea of Survivors. I think it's on 400 reviews, maybe 500 at the moment. Yeah, 400.
Something like that. So basically, if I had my time again and I released Sea of Survivors as a 1.0 game and maybe did a content update after the fact, it would have been a success. But the fact is, this game has been released longer than GNOMES was in development, and GNOMES is like closer to being finished, technically speaking. So as much as I love working on this game, and as much as I hope that it's really well received when we go into 1.0, it didn't quite get the chance to see its full potential because it just wasn't received as well as we'd hoped. You know, if we had 1,000 reviews, it'd be a different story. But when it's 3, you know, when you've got 3 partners working on a game, it is, you know, that's a lot of mouths to feed, especially when these guys have got corporate development jobs, you know, and they're used to that kind of life.
That's a big question that I wanted to ask. You touched on this earlier as well. I have just been poor for a year. I was just poor for a year. How do you manage financially to be an indie developer? Especially, maybe some people want to start. They are in a job. Most people of us are. And you have to get the money somewhere. And you also need to have the time to learn game development. Because it's not like you're going to be 10 months. You set yourself a deadline of 10 months. And then at the end of that deadline, your games probably still suck. So that takes time.
Well, look, I was very lucky that this is going to sound a bit insensitive, but when the plague happened, we all know what I'm talking about. First of all, I was actually on a sabbatical. I was traveling over in your part of the world in Europe, and I'd saved up for like a holiday. So I flew back to Australia and I had funds to sort of live off. I ended up going back to my parents' place and staying there for free for a bit. And then I basically just did contracting. Luckily, Sea of Survivors came out in a reasonable amount of time. So there was that income as well. And very luckily, this is the really lucky part, is I've actually got a fiance who has a real job, and when she was probably the person that got the most addicted to gnomes and went, you need to finish this game. She realized sooner than anyone that it was probably going to have a pretty good chance. So yeah, she really did she really did do more than her part for the last 12 to 18 months, and if not longer. So I'm very, very lucky. If it didn't work out that way, and maybe I didn't have such an amazing woman in my life, I probably would have had to I probably would have got a telemarketing job, or like a working selling websites or something like that, just while I did.
Yeah, I get flagged for this all the time, because I think I quit my job, and then for a year I had this I don't know what it's called in English, but basically you get money from the government because you're unemployed for a while, depending on how long you worked. Yeah, and so I was able to burn through that money, and then after that my wife supported me as well. But at some point you gotta realize that, especially when it takes longer, and in my case it did 4 years now, to finish the product, you need to have some sort of income. And I think the best solution is long term, especially when maybe your first game doesn't do well. Let's say Sea of Survivors doesn't do well. You have a side job that supports you enough. You touched on being a contractor. Was that not paying enough?
It's just when I did have a job, like a contracting job, it was always pretty generous. I mean, I set my rates pretty high. I was actually doing music mostly, but it takes a very big creative toll for me to do that. And when it comes time to work on my own stuff, I felt just really drained and uninspired. So it's something that I tried to step away from and just sort of manage. I had a very, very frugal lifestyle. I'll tell you that much. Anyway, not so much now, but you still got to like keep your feet on the ground and not spend money you don't have, because what we've earned from gnomes, that's our runway now. So if I only spend 20,000 a year or 30,000 a year, then I might get a few years of runway, or many years of runway. But if I go and do something silly like buy new PCs and buy too much beer and all that kind of stuff, then before you know it, it's all over. Patrick's very, very frugal as well, which is like so our company funds, to get him to spend $20 on a subscription, I have to twist his arm for it. So so I have to say, if we don't spend this money, think of all the money we're going to lose. That's how I have to frame it for you.
No, I think that's one of the most important aspects to talk about, and unfortunately it's not talked about enough. I feel like there's this invisible wall that always stops you from talking about money, but it's actually, in my opinion, the most important thing, because you can't feed a family of yourself if you're not earning anything. And when you just sit down, it's not a fairy tale, because you gotta get money somewhere. And you said that it is draining if you do two mental jobs at the same time. I always like talking about him. The Stardew Valley creator actually, I think, had a good place where he was working as I think in a hotel, and so it's like a physical job. You don't have to think as much, and so you get this downside of getting disconnect from your game, and then you can just mentally prepare yourself for the next programming session or being creative.
100%. And on the flip side, I've actually paid the price of being quite out of shape after working on gnomes. I put on about 15 kilos in the space of a year, just because it was such tunnel vision for me. And I had no reason to do anything. All I have to do is like mow the lawn once a month. I've got a gym sitting there only 15 meters away from me, but to motivate myself to do it when I've just got so much gnomes shit to do is so difficult. So luckily, now that I've got some downtime, I'm repaying that debt to myself because I've got physical debt rather than financial debt instead, right? So yeah, I can definitely see go and do a landscaping job or something while you're developing your game, because you'll get plenty of sunshine and you'll dig plenty of holes and break a sweat, and then you'll come home and you'll have plenty of brain cells left.
Yeah, because you can only do, in my opinion, you can only do so many head tasks a day before you run out of juice.
You can only make so many decisions, right?
Yeah. Exactly, and I noticed that too, because I have like my day job also requires me to think a lot, and it's definitely, it makes you slower for sure. But yeah, I think it would be awesome if we can ask 1 or 2 questions from the viewers. They had some questions, and I would like to do the first giveaway with our key. So you gave us some keys to give away, so thank you very much for that. For those of you who would like to play GNOMES. Yeah, we have a giveaway here, and quite a few people have entered. If you want to give it a last chance, type !GNOMES in chat, and I'm gonna just choose a winner and then write you on Twitch. Okay, you guys, I will write you a private message on Twitch. Please try to respond, and then I'll send you the key. Game's great, already bought it, Cakez. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I played it too. It's awesome. I really liked it. What I like the most is the juiciness. Like, you notice immediately, while we wait a little bit, that everything, and we can talk about this again if you want to, everything in the game is basically self-explanatory, either through color coding or through text that explains it. I never had to actually... I didn't need a tutorial, because it was all self-explained. And I like that a lot. Because most games don't do that.
A big part of that is that I think the audience today, so the guys that are using Steam, they're pretty smart. They're not like mobile gamers and casuals. Like, a lot of the conventions that we put in this game are from other games that people are used to. So a lot of it is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, my old man, who's 65 odd years old, he has no clue, but he's never going to buy a game like this on Steam. It's going to be people that are like, 15 to 40 years old, mostly
gamers,
Steam users that are interested.
I want to ask you a question about that, because I find that interesting about playtesters. Let me do a giveaway first. Okay, guys, I'll choose the winner. Let's see. It's ByteUL. This guy just doesn't deserve this, but okay, fine. Fine, I'll message you. I'll have to do that off stream here, so you guys don't take away the key. Let me see, where's the ByteUL, search for people. This guy doesn't actually deserve this. Okay, this guy's too toxic. Like, it should not be rewarded. I'm gonna write you yo-yo here. I totally do. Yeah, of course. Sell that key on G2A for 50 cents. Okay, I'll send you the first key. Let me know if it works. Actually, I think you gave a key to me. But I think I had the game already. So I'm gonna give that key away too, if it still works. Let me know if the key works, Mr. ByteUL, okay? Interview with a dev. We're all winners today. Yep, true. Very cool thing that this game is also about economy, not just tower defense. Yeah, oh, we can talk about that too. I think it's better than like a list of predefined questions. I think we kind of already went off. But first I want to ask...
My cloak of invisibility is back on again.
Oh, yeah. I'll do that. Is that better?
There we go. I'm back.
There we go. Nice. Okay, so my question is, you touched on your dad not being able to understand this. I have a wife that would be considered the same. She's not very computer person. When you're looking for people to playtest, and you do have family members that you can watch over the shoulder, would you avoid these people? Because maybe they are not your audience?
Okay, great question. So one thing I do is when I give it to a friend or someone I know, or even someone in real life that I watch playtest, or any kind of playtest where I'm an active observer, I don't tell them anything about the game. I'll talk about how the day was, whatever, but I don't tell them anything because I want to see what they do and what they think should work. And usually that tells me exactly how the game should work. Like, we had a bunch of mechanics that actually got cut. Like, for example, you used to be able to rotate the gnomes manually, and that was like one of the core mechanics of the game. And we realized that while it was kind of cool and made the game more puzzly, most people didn't figure it out, even when we told them with like something really clear. So we're just like, well, I guess that's just not in the game anymore. So that's the type of thing you can get from those kinds of playtesters, is the UX kind of feedback. When you know your game's good is when you go, all right, thanks, and you leave it with them, and then 2-3 hours later they're sending you screenshots of how far they're getting in the run and that kind of stuff, because they're playing it without you prompting them. The best playtesters, once you've got the basic UX and that kind of stuff down, I would just say is random people on the internet who don't care about your feelings, because they'll tell you the truth. They'll tell you what sucks, and they'll tell you what they love as well. And it's also an awesome way to build up super fans really early on. A bunch of our community members that are like really core members of our community and have become moderators, and you know they rally all the other members. Those guys are some of our earliest playtesters, which is, you know, a testament to how important it is to playtest early. We playtested publicly by posting on our roguelites on Steam, on Reddit, and basically said, hey, we've got 100 keys to give away if you want to playtest this. Here's a GIF. And we just got overwhelmed and ended up giving away something like 300 keys at that point, because all it was just the forest map, basically. So it was less than what's in the demo.
Ha! So one map to play with.
At that,
right?
time. At that time, yeah.
Yeah, because I want to emphasize that really quickly for those people in my chat that keep saying that you need more than one map. Think about that.
Look, this was probably I think for our first trailer we had 3 maps that were kind of fake. So like,
yeah,
they weren't like playable, but we had like in the desert map there's like a goblin that blows up, and you know, we've got little palm trees and like, you know, sand tiles. For us to make a new map visually, it doesn't take long at all. So it was pretty easy for us to fake, and we like reused some of the same mobs and stuff. If anything, it was probably even like the same map, and we just like changed the tile set. So it was enough to give it some visual interest. But yeah, look, when we play tested really early on, we just wanted to like make sure that we were actually onto something, and that the whole all of the mechanics and everything were working. We found all the bugs and that kind of stuff, because when you're actually putting your demo out there, the fastest way to lose is, and just have people not care about your game, is just put out a buggy mess.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I learned that too. Yeah, well, mistake done for the first project. Let's not repeat that. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. I forgot what. Maybe you remember. We touched on the playtesters. We had another important question that came right after that, as we were doing the giveaway. Do you remember the question?
I'm a goldfish, man.
Yeah, me too.
Me.
Yeah.
I do have one thing that I've got highlighted in bright blue here that I wanted to mention, and it was around about when you said you were going to ask some questions like this. There's something that I call the Holy Trinity, right? The Holy Trinity. Think of the Triforce from Legend of Zelda. It's like these 3 key points. I actually have drawn a little diagram here.
Money in the middle.
Right, geez, you'll have to
yeah, wait.
see if you can
I
see
will,
that.
I
So
will, I
first of
will
all-
disable this. Give me 1 second. I'll disable the background removal so you can show it properly. Like that's probably better.
All right, so at the top, we've got scope. So scope to me is, can I make this, and can I make it in, say, 6 to 12 months? And then appeal is basically, does the audience actually care about this? Is this going to be something where there's an existing audience, or am I maybe doing a twist on something that, you know, already exists, but it's something a little bit unique? You know, have I taken steps to make sure there is actually an audience for this? And then lastly is motivation. And motivation is simply, do I actually want to make this? And if you can't say yes to all 3 of those questions, you're making the wrong game. That's my opinion.
How do you figure out appeal? That's a important one,
I think,
my opinion.
I think appeal is about finding either a very interesting mechanic that hasn't been done before, or taking a game like Tower Defense that already exists and trying to do something novel with it. Usually it's something novel, right?
Mm.
But the thing is, you need to also pair it with a theme that slaps and really suits the mechanic that you're adding. While Sea of Survivors wasn't an absolute banger, our core mechanic was it's a ship that can't. Sorry, it's a character that can't stop moving. And I'm like, hey, what about a pirate ship? So that pairing was probably why Sea of Survivors had some success, right?
Mm.
With gnomes, we had the idea of the gardening and an expanding map, and we thought, hey, moving towers, why don't we make them garden gnomes? And luckily, gnomes were kind of trending at the time. There was Crawley getting around on TikTok and that kind of thing. I thought like the bloodthirsty looking gnomes was kind of like, something that people would get about, and luckily I was right. I think there's like a taste element to it. You've got to, I guess you've really got to test it with the market. If when you get it to market, like by actually putting a trailer or something like that out, and people don't respond, you need to have a plan to like wrap it up quickly. In my opinion, I think gnomes could have been a much smaller game.
You mean not quit the product, but maybe just release it quicker?
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Like there was probably a $5 version of gnomes. There's a $10 version of gnomes, and then there's like a $20 version of gnomes. And we ended up going with like the $10, $15 version of gnomes because that's how much traction we got. We also were running out of budget, and we just had to get it out the door as well. So maybe gnomes could have been a bigger game, but we had to eat. Gotta eat, bro.
Yeah, gotta eat. And that's, I like that a lot, because you hear this advice all the time, and it's actually correct, but it's never really talked about in great detail or with specific. I hate that on YouTube. Like the specific, what you just said is, oh, I have a game. I made that for a couple of months. I have a trailer here. I put it out to Reddit, and it gets 2 upvotes. Shit. That's probably not good. And so then you gotta figure out, the advice is, finish your products, make small products, so that you can get into the habit of finishing your games, and then you move on. And what you just keyed on is, okay, when you get to that point where you put it out to the public and the reception is bad, don't quit, but try to finish it in a way where, let's say, maybe I finish it in 2 weeks or whatever, like depends. And then make a new game that maybe has more appeal.
Wrap it up when you... That's right, and you'll also have the tech that you've used to create gnomes. Like right now, probably the first time I've said this publicly, but we are working on a new little prototype right now, and a lot of the gnomes tech is getting reused for that because turn-based pathing and grid-based kind of mechanics. We've got a custom engine that does this really, really well. We both know it very, very well. And we also have an audience that likes really tactical, deep, turn-based games. So we thought, why don't we try and tap into that again with our next one? And hopefully hit the ground running and get something out. Like do the same strategy I'm talking about here, like getting a Steam page up with a trailer and testing it out and seeing what happens. I can't really reveal much more than that. Just
okay, so you can't reveal the genre even, right?
Oh, look. Geez, I really shouldn't.
If you shouldn't, then don't feel pressure to do so. Yeah.
Yeah, well, look, I think let's just say it's a very classic genre that I feel like needs a big QOL and UX pass over it, and we want to add a few new interesting mechanics that give it a bit more depth. So, yeah, let's just leave it at that. But I hope that you guys like it like you've liked gnomes. And I hope it does actually get a bit of traction because it is a game that I really want to make. But the other thing is I've got to be careful not to fall into the trap of making a game that I really want to make if there's no appeal.
So you're saying that is a mistake, huh? Maybe.
No, I'm saying that if I put the game out there and no one wants it, then I need to wrap it up. I need to not get too caught up in it and too emotional about it, right?
Okay. but yeah. God, I hear so many things that I do wrong. It's difficult to deal with this. Okay. Yeah.
Look. The good thing is you're making games, and you're 90%. You're in the. You've got a game on Steam which puts you in like the 99th percentile of game devs.
Awesome to hear. Thank you. That's great motivation. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna ask 1 or 2 questions from that we have written down from chat, because I feel like they have some really awesome ones as well.
Right.
And I think we should start with the question of figuring out if a game is. Let me find that. Yeah, there we go. If you are designing a game to be a commercial success, what would you think about? What specific things do you include when you make one? And this is by Null Exception, the person that actually got me in contact with you, the friend. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, hey, that's it. Yeah.
Null Exception. Null Exception's got a very different name on Discord, so forgive me. I won't share their secret with you. But anyway, the main thing I care about is that if I'm making a game, it needs to probably be within a genre that I like, because I'm big on like sticking to what you know. It doesn't make sense for me to make a horror game because I don't like being scared. So I'm not going to make a horror game. I've had other teams that are trying to convince me to make XYZ game, but they want me to also be the creative lead on it. And I just say, look, I can't do that because I've got to market this product. I've got to be pumped about it. One thing I like to really do is I spend a lot of time on Steam just going through demos. I like click through tags and I sort of see, what games are performing really, really well. There's a website which I might just quickly share with you.
I think we've seen that too.
It's called Gamestats.com.
Yeah, I think we've seen that.
Game-stats.com.
Game stats or games stats. Yeah. I think we've seen that before. This one here, right?
Yeah. And so this website, you can actually sort by tag and like median revenue. So
here, this one, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is an interesting. I'm not saying this is the Bible, but this is an interesting place to start because you can look at things like if you just scroll down a little bit, some of the top ones are going to be like extraction shooters. I think they're pretty hot. Zero Cybert's a banger. Dwarfs are big theme. Technically, gnomes are dwarves.
Yeah.
Villain protagonist, turn-based, 4X. Like these are all open world survival craft. That's a huge genre.
Oh yeah.
It's all about like finding what people really, really care about, and then trying to create a really narrow but very deep experience, in my opinion. So finding like, in Valheim, you might really like the idea of like sailing and raiding. So maybe you make a open world survival. Actually, no, don't make an open world survival craft. That's a huge job. But make a game that's about raiding the coast as a band of Vikings, and your ship is like the point where you regroup and you cut out all the base building or something like that. Like I would say like cutting scope and cutting features is sometimes actually adding a feature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So Warhammer 40k with extraction shooter elements. Hell yeah! I mean, if you can make it look like Zero Cyber and maybe skin that as like a fantasy sci-fi kind of thing, I think there's a lot of potential there. But yeah, this is one place to look. I look at games that I really love, like something that I get addicted to. I'm like, what is it about this game that's so great? And I try and like not necessarily copy the core mechanics or anything, but I almost see like what's it wrapped in.
You probably have seen this game too, then. The King is watching.
Yeah, definitely. I actually asked for the bundle, but they're too cool for me. So, Tiny Build, they're a real publisher.
And that brings me. I think this is an interesting point. You made a tower defense game that includes the. So I think you have the base building tag. Do you have that? Because you kind of have to build somewhat of a economy at least.
My tags, I actually change them pretty frequently. I heard somewhere this might just be a bit of hocus pocus, but you should be changing your tags like every month just to like keep it fresh. And sometimes your users will give you the wrong tags and that kind of thing. So I have had the base building tag before. I also had like city builder and that kind of stuff.
So it doesn't even have to be perfectly true, because for example you could say, oh, we have, let's say you could put items on top of each other. That would be crafting. They put the crafting tag on.
Yeah, I guess. I guess so. Farming sim, you know, like what else have we used? We use roguelite. I mean, what is a roguelike? You know, let's not start a war here, but run based.
Yeah, I think we can talk a little bit about, this is the key mechanic of the game here. You can move your gnomes, and that's the one that you probably spent the most amount of time on to also juice it up, make it feel really well. And because we have
when
a
you
quest.
hover,
So
when you hover a gnome, it's not just gnomes that will do that little bounce thing either. Like there's actually like an amulet in the game called the Amulet of Stone Shapers, which allows you to move rocks, right? So that's a relic that you can get. So then when rocks are movable, the same thing will happen, like just little visual indicators just to show people what they can play with. Barrels, the same thing. Like if you buy a barrel now and then put a barrel down.
Let me see here what makes
sense.
sense.
Do the same thing. Let me just check if I have done all my work. So just put it anywhere and then hover over it again and see if it bounces.
Oh yeah, it does.
There you go. Yeah, so because you can interact with it, but you can't move a house or a crop, so it won't work.
So
just little stuff like that.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. But yeah, it is. That stuff is important because it teaches the player really quickly what they can do without it being a tutorial that you state, oh, you can move the barrel again. So visual cues, I like that a lot. Let me ask a question from Shade11. I find that interesting. You probably can't talk about it too much because you didn't do the technical stuff. The enemy algorithm that is considered when rerouting, the pathing algorithm, that is was probably done by the programmer,
Patrick.
right? Yeah, by Patrick. Yeah.
Yeah. So Patrick loves a bit of a pathing algorithm, so he spent a lot of time on it. There's a lot of iterations of it. Without cutting his grass too much, the way that basically I as a UX designer said it needs to work is every tile should have an even cost. So it doesn't matter if it's a swamp tile, doesn't matter if it's a grass tile. That shouldn't, the goblins are stupid, they shouldn't know the difference. But each time they turn, there's a significant cost to turning, and each time they want to run something over, there's a significant cost to that as well. So even if it takes them much longer to go in a straight line and not knock anything over, they're going to do that versus the opposite. I believe you used some Dijkstra's algorithm in there and that kind of stuff. But look, I really can't go into much more detail than that without looking like an idiot or lying to you.
So basically, a turn is this right here, the corner here, and then the corner here, and these things, and they cost more. So then that means it tries to find a way where it doesn't do as many turns to get to the house.
That's right.
And
so
I think
every goblin or every tent makes a calculation based on where they are in the world. It's pretty. I think like that's all pretty straightforward stuff. But the thing is, there was a lot of teething pains and a lot of bugs, so I have to really give it to Patrick. He put a lot of work into finding all the edge cases, and it was a bit, probably actually to answer one of the other questions I saw in the chat, that was probably the one thing that he spent the most time on pre-launch. But post-launch, it was actually adding a font system to the game so we could translate it, because originally our font was just a PNG file because we didn't have a game engine. It's just Rust and OpenGL. So so it was pretty primitive. We call it the Ooga Booga engine just because we're like cavemen.
I feel like everyone feels that way, man. I feel that too. And he even we read the Reddit post about the our game just reached overwhelmingly positive, no engine, no problem post on Reddit, and he talked about it, font being one of the most annoying things possible, because especially when you resize the game, like the font is all destroyed and now you can't read anything anymore, and you're making your own engine. You have to fix that yourself.
Yeah, we locked the resolution to 640 by 360 because it's just like it works on the most monitor sizes and stuff. Like it just, you want to go up to 1080p, just multiply it by 4, I think. Quick math. But yeah, basically. Yeah, so someone's asking about 18 languages. Yeah, well, look, we basically just asked the community, like, hey, what languages do you guys speak? Who wants to chip in? And there was a few really awesome guys that did Romanian. Some Ukrainian guys jumped in as well and did a translation for us. We did use a translation company for the bulk of it, but after the fact, we also actually made a deal with a Chinese distributor. So they're called Gamersky. They've done a few games of friends of mine, and they just basically gave us to their streaming network. They put us on the front page of their website for a few days, and they did all the localization for us and all the LQA in Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Thai. There's actually simplified and traditional Chinese. And they've also been really, really helpful with just general QA as well, just because, you know, more sales for us means more sales for them. So you probably can't talk about it too much. I'm still gonna ask if it's okay. They probably asked, obviously you need to make a contract when you have someone do that. They probably asked you for like a revenue share or something like that, along the lines of that. Yeah, of course. So the cool thing is, what a lot of publishers are going to want to do is they're going to want to be the bank. They're going to be the ones that are getting paid from Steam. And we basically said off the bat, no, that's just not happening. Like this is my bread. We'll give you your crumbs, and they were happy with that. And they only get paid for their selected regions. So that's, I think, like China, Korea, Japan, Hong Kong, Thailand. And they handle the marketing there. The good thing is all of the sales that happen in those countries, it actually affects the total Steam algorithm. So if we're making sales in Germany, it boosts everywhere else in the world. So it's just a net win for us. So we couldn't really say no when it all sort of was presented to us in the end. The distributor's name is Gamersky. You should check them out if you're looking at
this here. Guys.
Yeah, so they've got some big titles. They've got like Played Up. One of their new ones that has come out is actually, Tiny Pasture. That one's really sold really well. But yeah, we actually had, combining that with our daily deal, we actually had about as many sales as we did in our launch week.
It's crazy, yeah, we read that too.
The unit price was a little bit less because obviously, you know, we're giving a bit of a chop to those guys, and localized pricing. It's cheaper in somewhere like Brazil than it is in the US. And then, of course, we had a pretty big discount of 30% when we did the daily deal as well.
I have a question. How important do you think it is to have multiple translations on launch day?
I think it would have been really beneficial if we did do that, but unfortunately we just didn't have the budget or the time, and it was just something that had to get done a bit later. We didn't have the tech either, like I mentioned a little bit earlier. Like that was a bit of a nightmare. I feel sorry for Patrick, the poor bastard, for having to do it pretty much by himself, but you know, it's just not something I could really help with. I will say though, we had a review rating of about 98%. When we were English only, and as soon as we introduced ourselves to the rest of the world, they're a lot more. I think it's a lot less personal, so they don't feel so uncomfortable leaving a bad review. Whereas the Western internet, we kind of all rally around each other, and they see someone who's just, you know, a little indie making a game on their own. We kind of, you know, oh look, maybe I'll just let that little thing that annoyed me slide and leave a positive review. And we also have the community, and I like, you know, quite regularly go, hey guys, leave us a review. It really helps a lot. And you know, that's like the best way you can support a developer if you already own the game, is just leave them a review and say the game's great. So yeah, that hurt a little bit, you know, seeing it slip down to like 96 or so, and you know, hopefully it stays in the overwhelmingly positive range. But yeah, I think in general it would have been much better to have released with all these languages available, just simply because when we were new and trending, we would have been seen by 2 or 3 times as many people.
Oh yeah, that's correct. You're right. But I think you still did it, like you only had that, you had to choice. So you had to ship with the PNG file, essentially, font system, and then that allowed you to keep going. And maybe for the next game now you can, since you have the budget now, probably the time now to, you can make it better. But it's awesome to see that, like, it's always from, it's not into, that's why I don't like these specific things that you do. Sometimes you just can't do everything to launch day. Just doesn't work out that way.
Yeah, I think one of the big things that really stopped us was just like the time investment that it was going to take. And, you know, like I said, we were out of money. We had to get it done. But going forward, we're going to make very different decisions. Like, we might actually render the game instead of at 360p. We might render it at 720p so we can, you know, have a bit more flexibility with the fonts. Like, you know German as good as anyone, man. Like, we had to like literally resize the UI buttons so that we could fit German words because it was just so hectic. Some of the German phrases just took up so much space. Very fun. It's actually a bit easier for me to understand German, you know, when I'm editing the text, because at least the characters are kind of familiar, versus, you know, trying to QA Chinese or Japanese. I just have no chance, right?
I just noticed you have a new screenshot. I think maybe it's not new, but I have not seen that before. So it looks like you're still...
Yeah, we did a content update.
Ah, yeah. When did that came out?
We did it all at once. So what we try to do is whenever we have something happening, we try to make it all happen at the same time. So we did the daily deal. We did the content update with 4 new maps. We released, was it 17 languages or something like that? Yeah, and we did a bit of marketing. I paid for some Reddit ads as well for the first time. I'm not really sure how they went, but, you know, it probably helped. But yeah, when you try to do a beat, you want it to be the biggest beat you can make it be, really. And that's how you get the most traction on Steam. So, because sales equal more sales on Steam.
So basically you do a big content update. Here's, I think this is the post that you wrote. You put the trailer at the top and then you write stuff, you show them what's new. So that would be one part, and then you do that, multiply that to all of the platforms that you can to get as much traction as possible. So would you rather say, okay, make more posts, make bigger posts as opposed to do more posts?
I think it really depends on what position you're in. When you already have eyeballs on your project, you probably want to make it so it's a bigger deal every time you post. But early on, you know, get on Reddit and try out and figure out what subs are working for you, because every game is going to work differently. We had a bit of luck on like the GNOMES sub, which is not about our game, it's just about GNOMES in general, and whenever we posted there, we'd get a handful of playtesters. Roguelites really liked this game, whereas Sea of Survivors, they didn't care about it. They were like, oh, another survivor, like, I don't want to know about that. But then I'd post on indie games and people would be pumped about it. So you'll see there's subtle differences between each audience. I think also the dev subs, they were a lot more interested in this game because of it being made in Rust and also it being a bit of a novel concept, whereas like posting another survivor like on a dev sub, people are just gonna, you know, they don't really care. It's not the most groundbreaking information to them, is it?
I wonder what you think about when you post on subreddits where mostly devs communicate with each other. Do you think these wish lists are inflated because maybe they are just interested in how your game's doing, to use it as a market researching tool rather than actually playing it?
That's a good question, and that's something I thought about a bit. I personally play a lot of games still as a dev. Like, I probably play more games now as a dev than when I wasn't a dev. Especially in this class of game. Like, I don't really play, the last big game I played was Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, but other than that, it's probably the only 3D game I've played in years. Like, other than that, I'm playing other games and going, oh, you know, what can I take? Can I make this? You know, that's how I'm looking at it. So
it's about yoinking, I think, a bit from the games.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I hope people yoink from GNOMES as well. I hope people yoink from GNOMES as well, because we've tried to do something a bit different and taken some risks, so you don't have to, right?
Yeah, I actually yoinked your shop once. It didn't stay in the game, but I did.
we yoinked that from Brotato, so it's like it's a chain of yoinks. So
do you hear that, guys? It's a chain of yoinks. It's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah. No, really cool. Because people, like, especially when you do this publicly, most developers just do this in private. Like, there's so many people that are saying, oh, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't take away from other games. You should just make your own, without realizing that it's actually, most games are just an accumulation of multiple things from other games, multiple inspiration sources.
That's right. Yeah, like, you don't have to. I think even if you tried to exactly copy another game, it would still be unique, because you're going to have different decision making, you're going to have a different art style, you're not going to be able to do a thing the same way the developer did, so you're going to have to do it differently. GNOMES is just full of compromises. You know, we had all sorts of ideas, and then we would go, okay, how long is this going to take to build? A month? All right, well, how can we do it in less time? And we would figure out a way to do it in a week instead. And maybe we had to make a bit of a compromise on some of the details, but the reality is, like, that's just part of being an indie. Like, you can't cook too hard, or you'll basically shoot yourself in the foot.
Okay, I have another question from Shade11, which I think is important, because you touched on that in your email as well. You made GNOMES stand out from other titles in the same genre, and his question is, in these days where most games concentrate on visuals, what made you comfortable going for such a simplistic look?
Well, first of all, it's that I knew I could deliver this art style, and I could do it at scale and be very consistent. I've said a bunch of, despite it looking quite simple, there's a bunch of rules and laws that are going on here that I don't break. There's a very strict palette. There's also a bit of a nostalgia factor as well. Like, a lot of people that are playing this game, when they first started playing games, this is what games look like.
Yeah.
So we do get a bit of a, I use the term Molt X to describe, like in Velatro, you know, every decision you make is like a Molt X decision, you know, and you need to, whether you're getting, you know, 0.1 Molt or whether you're getting 3 Molt is really, you know, it depends on the combinations of decisions you made. What was really important for this game was visual clarity. So we wanted to make it so that things that are important, like the crops, the gnomes, you know, the things in the environment you can interact with, they're all very clear and stand out. I'm also a really big fan of dark themes. Like, I can't stand white on my computer screen. It just makes my eyes hurt. So that's why I wanted this to be the type of game you could sit in here and chill and play for a long, long time. Every time I try to make a terrain that's not like black, I just like basically get a migraine straight away. So yeah, I think there's a lot less decisions to make when you just stick to a really basic palette, 16 by 16 pixels. You're better off making something simple that's consistent and classic than overextending yourself and not doing something that you can deliver.
I like that a lot. And what do you think then? Now we have this map, we have this game. What made you? How do you stand out amongst the others? Like, what makes this game stand out? What do you think?
Geez, that's a great question, man. I think the art is gonna be repelling for a lot of people. Like, they're gonna see that and just run away, and that's okay, because the people that do like it really love it. So you get those eyeballs on it for a start. A saying I think of is, art catches the eye, mechanics get the buy. Do you like that?
Yeah, I like it.
So if you grab, all it has to do is grab their attention, and if they look for long enough, they're going to realize whether this is something they're interested in or not.
I mean, when I look at this screenshot, in a way, it already tells me probably everything I need to know in just one picture. I know that there's paths that change direction based on what I place, because it like this bends. It's not a straight line, it doesn't go through anything. It shows me the path actually at all times, and then it shows me crops. Like we actually did that before I played the game. We looked at the screenshots and we tried to figure out what was the game about, and we could tell basically all of the mechanics just by looking at the screenshot. And I think that's what you meant with visual clarity.
Yeah, that's right. The main thing is, if when you're operating at the scale we're operating at, your art style needs to be really bang for buck. If you happen to be an amazing 3D modeler and you can bang out 3D models very quickly, by all means make a 3D game. I would suggest though, if you were going to make a game like that, maybe contain yourself to like one room and there's like a thing in the room that you interact with, rather than, you know, trying to make an open world survival craft game where you need a million assets, you know. But in our case, we wanted to make a game with a bunch of content, so we needed to do an art style that we could deliver, you know, a lot of different items and a lot of different content with.
Okay, awesome. I think you succeeded very well, because when I saw this game for the first time, it immediately showed me, well, this is an old game. And I know that this is a filter on top of everything. We actually took a look at the game in Renodoc. I don't know if you know this application, but it's basically, it's dissecting the game so that you could see what sprites are in your atlas, you could see the font, and then you could see the draw order in which the game is drawn. And I saw that you reused a lot of the assets for especially the enemies. You would have an enemy type, and then you would put armor plates on the enemy, and now it's an armored enemy, or like a more tougher version of the same.
That's right, yeah.
Enemy type. And it showed me that there's a lot of efficiency going on, and it also showed that as a player you don't really care too much if they look alike, if they are different enough. Oh, that's a new enemy type. And you save a lot of time.
Every single enemy in the game's a goblin, so yeah, you do save a lot of time. And I think like the core animation of like making the goblin run around and stuff was probably the one that took the longest actually. So yeah, the gnomes were very easy because they stand in place. I just had to basically draw a gnome and make it like wobble a little bit. So as you can see, he's idling there, and like that's like 2 frames or 3 frames or something. So yeah, the goblins took the longest as far as that goes.
I wonder if
about balancing. I think that was your next question actually.
Oh yeah, the balancing was that's actually a really cool question that I totally forgot. You obviously had to balance the game, and there's ways to automate that. Basically, you program yourself bots that play the game for you, and then you let them play and see how far they got. How did you do that? Or did you do this, and how did you balance?
We didn't really bother with any of that kind of stuff, telemetrics or anything. We definitely did it by ear, so to speak. The main thing is once we figured out the forest, which is the first map, we kind of had a bit of a structure of like when it needs to ramp up, there's all these different levers that we have, like, you know, the buy price of items and the buy price of gnomes and that kind of stuff. Also a big one, like that changed a lot throughout the playtesting, and you know, we'd sort of figure out pretty quickly how far people that were playing the game were getting, and you know what was kind of silly. Like at one point sunflowers were 2 gold, and that's just completely game breaking, so we found like the price of 3 was pretty good. Yeah, just all sorts of things, like when we give them more fertile ground so they can expand their economy, and you know how strong the enemies need to be at certain times. All of that kind of stuff, we figured it out pretty early with the forest map, and from there we just made like an incremental increase. Then most maps after that had their own gimmicks. Like for example, this map has flying mobs. It's one of the only maps that has flying mobs, but you've also got the swamp, which is a bit of an advantage because you can use it to slow different types of mobs down as well.
I think they slow down on these tiles here.
Yeah. We also had in the third map, which is the desert, the first goblin we give them is the sapper goblin, and he blows up. So he'll kill your gnome if he's too close to him. But what we decided to do was we decided to put that goblin, despite being one of the hardest goblins in the game, he's got 1 HP. We put him first in the order so that you're not like getting him on day 9 once you've already got your build set up, because that would just like be a rage quit moment. But if you blow your only gnome up on day 1, you learn the lesson. You go, oh, okay, so I need to do something about this. I need to redirect him into a cactus, or I need to buy something from the shop to sort him out. So every map had a bit of a gimmick. The balance incrementally increases over time, and for the new maps, we were kind of just like, this is for the hardcore players that have actually made it this far, so we're going to really kind of take the piss with the difficulty here. A lot of the guilds probably can't really beat it on their own without some luck in the shop. But there's also going to be guilds. That's the other thing. The guilds we have kind of like make the balance moot anyway, because if you choose the right guild and the right map combination, you know, you can counter the gimmick of the map, and then you can also you can also just get enough DPS or whatever you need for the solution, right?
Okay, because
the economy's too busted on that map or whatever.
Because so basically you asked people to give you feedback, then they gave you feedback, and then this is a question I had. Now you need to decide, okay, what type of feedback is good? What should I listen to? And what can I discard? How did you figure that out?
So what happens a lot of the time when you get feedback from players, I find they give you a suggestion, and it's not really actually identifying the problem. You kind of have to like backtrack and find what they're actually complaining about. Let me think of an example. Like a lot of players were like, oh, we need to have a way to like withdraw all my gnomes from the world, and so I can place them again. And we thought, oh, that might not actually be what they want, so we're going to add the idle gnome feature. So it shows you when your gnomes are inactive. Like if you move the gnome off the path, you'll have a little exclamation mark, and then you can actually press X or press the exclamation mark in the top right. That's going to allow you to pick him up and put him back.
Does that work with all of them together, or is it just one
if they're not
at a time?
If they're not engaged in the path, then it'll allow you to do that. So you can pretty quickly kind of replace the rogue gnomes that have wandered off into the wilderness, you know. So that's just an example. Some of the other feedback we get, like people have asked us for co-op, and I just have no idea how that would work. Unfortunately, if someone knows, let me know. Yeah, so that's always a feature that gets asked for. Mac OS support. Sorry guys, we don't own Mac software, Mac hardware, and they don't make it any easier for us. So
no,
unfortunately, that's probably never going to happen.
Yeah, you need a Mac for that, and that's expensive.
PvP mode. We kind of technically do have PvP mode. We've got the leaderboard, so yeah, check out the daily run. Yeah,
like the leaderboards is probably done through Steam, right? Using the Steam API.
Yeah, it's amazing. That we even created a standalone website as well, gnomes-leaderboards.live, I think it is.
And these levels are endless, or?
Beg your pardon?
These levels are endless. They never stop. Like I've never played them endlessly.
After you get to 16, which is an interesting number, but it just felt right when we played it ourselves. Day 16 seems like a good day to wrap it up. Basically, every few days, the difficulty just multiplies, and it gets exponentially crazy until either your computer blows up or you die. So, yeah, if your computer stops working, you've won. That's how you finish Gnome.
I'm interested in, maybe you don't know, maybe Patrick did it. How did you implement that? Did you, because obviously your first 16 days are cold. So you decide that 5 goblins spawn on the first day. And then 5, like I just saw the stronger goblin spawns the second day, needs 2 hits. And then at some point, you obviously can't code endless waves. What did you decide to do then?
So what happens is the tents, which the goblins spawn from, that gets a little skull on it on day 17. And basically all the goblins are added back into the pool. So that means like whatever goblins are available on that map go into a pool, and then are just randomized, and you get a random set of chunks. And each time they get a new skull, which is every few days, the difficulty basically just... I can't tell you the exact number for each gnome, or sorry, each goblin, I should say, but basically, yeah, just exponentially multiplied over time.
I see. So I'm a coder guy. I always like thinking about this. I'm just gonna take it as okay. So there's like some sort of level multiplier, and if I do 5, then it's 5 times this exponentially.
They get
away.
faster as well.
Hmm.
So the less time they spend on a tile, the less hits you can get in.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I think that's something you have to do, but it also allows you to do basically endless leaderboards. And I feel like I didn't get this website correctly. Is it GNOME series? Is it
No, hang on, let me just...
GNOME-leaderboards? Try to maybe...
GNOME-leaderboard.live. Leaderboard, no plural.
Leaderboard, okay. There we go. Ah, there we go. Awesome. Score 41, that's probably the day, right?
That's today, and then there should be an all-time score or something.
Oh, wait, that's today. Oh, yeah, here. Days,
yeah,
top players.
There we go. So, Bybus, he's our GOAT. He's way ahead of everyone else at the moment. So, it adds up like how you ranked, how many times you've reached top or whatever. So 25 times with the gold medal, which gives him the best position. Oh, Tropical Booty, what a lad. He's one of our moderators.
Oh, cool. And score means... Is it just an accumulation of, I guess, your medals? Difficult to say.
So if you get second, third, or whatever, yeah. Top 10s are worth some points too.
And but I can't
Okay,
see
so I hate
the
to be
day,
rude,
right?
But I'm actually going to pee my pants. So can I have...
Yeah. Oh, hey, bro. Of course. Yeah. Sure.
thanks,
yeah, take a quick break. I'll just talk to chat a bit. Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, awesome. See you in 2 seconds.
Yo. He was asking if they... Yeah. So, like, it's probably not the number of days survived, right? So that's what I want to know. What's the highest day survived? Ask how to solve devblog in Tangy TD. Okay. Cakez interviews, nice. Hi, my dude. Hello there, new kids on YouTube. Good morning, man. Hope you're doing good. Hope you guys having fun so far. Sorry, I couldn't ask all of the questions. I saw some of you guys post questions in chat. Try to, not make it too awkward by switching topics all the time, right? Fun interview, you guys like it? Gotta yoink more. Yeah, see guys, I told you so many times, you need to yoink. But every time I do it, it's like, oh, Cakez, you don't know what you're talking about. Good stuff, Cakez and Tommy. Awesome. Not exception. Fun one, thanks. Good one. I appreciate it. Yeah, we can go on a bit, for sure. It's an interview. You kind of need to cover a lot of topics. Yeah, sure. But I think it's cooler if we just let it flow. Let me... Yeah. Let me see if I can figure out what I'm missing from the list so we don't... Yeah, it would be cool if we could get some failed projects, right? If they had some failed projects in the past. But it looks like these are his only 2 projects. And then let me see here. Best marketing tool, if Reddit... Yeah, I think Reddit. But he said it already.
All right, I'm back.
Yo, welcome back.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I was getting incoherent because I was busting so badly. So I felt like my last answer wasn't that solid because I was distracted, just trying to, hold it in. Thanks for welcoming me back, everyone. Do we have any new questions?
I think I just looked at one that we kind of missed, but I think you talked about this already. You didn't have any failed projects in the past, right? So you worked on projects that weren't commercially viable, but you didn't make them your own, right? You didn't sell them yourself.
Yeah, so I have with the team before GNOMES, the Sea of Survivors team. We did work on another project for way too long, and it was kind of where we cut our teeth. We learned all the lessons, and we probably spent 2 years on this like it was when Among Us was big, and we were like, oh, we should make the next Among Us. And, you know, before everyone had that idea, right? So then we did the next game that everyone had the same idea, which was the Survivor-like. Yeah, so for me, the projects that have failed never even made it to Steam, because I knew before they got to Steam that they weren't going to stand a chance. Working with other people that have released projects on Steam, I'm not going to talk about who they are.
No.
That wouldn't be nice. But,
No.
But just one thing that I identified that they did often have in common was either the person that was the lead on the project just had no fucking idea what they were doing. Excuse my French, but that's the only way I can put it. Or they would be a team that wanted to do creativity via committee. And quite frankly, that's kind of how you end up with dog shit. You need someone who's got like a strong direction creatively, and you need someone who's like a strong technical lead, and they need to make decisions in their own lanes. And I think what I often see is like there'll be a team that'll have like a creative person making technical decisions, and everyone else is just doing what they're told and too afraid to, you know, speak up and say, maybe we should do this different. You know, teams are often too big, or I guess another case that I've seen is just like people with, they never really had any appeal to begin with for their game. You know, they were making something for them, not for other people.
Okay, so basically, how long was that period before you decided to let me go and make my own? Because obviously, you need to. I like calling it being in the hyperbolic time chamber. You gotta train first before you can go out, and then you get your own hit in, right? How long did it take you to learn? Yeah.
For me, I was pretty lucky that my foundational skill was actually as a composer and as a sound designer. So I didn't actually need to have game experience to be able to get into the games business. I did obviously mess around in Unity and all that kind of stuff on my own and do my own little coding projects, despite them being, you know, miserable failures. But I was able to sort of latch onto existing teams, and quickly what I figured out was, okay, I can expand my value here by learning other things, like learning how to do art, learning how to understand the market and how Steam works, as well as eventually cutting my teeth with some game design stuff as well. The first real commercial project that I actually consider serious was probably Sea of Survivors anyway. You know, that's anything else before that, I was just a hobbyist. You know, until you have a Steam page up, I think you should consider yourself a hobbyist in general.
Yeah, I think so too. Because Steam gives you the actual market. How do you say that? It tells you what the market wants.
Validation,
yeah. Because if it has appeal,
validates your idea.
Yeah, if it has appeal, it'll show you. If it doesn't, then it doesn't, and then you gotta figure out, okay, what to do next. I don't think there's like some magic sauce that you need. You just put it up on Steam, and then either it does have appeal or not. Do you think that's too?
Yeah, that's right. A good way to put it is it's either a feather or a stone. You know, when it comes to the marketing, and you know, just about any game you can flog your way to 7,000 or 10,000 wish list if you just, you know, spend the money and put in the hard work. But I think Sea of Survivors was a little bit like that as well. You know, I did a lot of you know, grinding. It was like grinding coal in RuneScape sometimes, just posting on Reddit again and again and again, just getting those numbers. But then with GNOMES, it felt like night and day. Night and day. Yeah, I first post, you know, 100 upvotes, and like when I asked people if they wanted to play test it, my Discord DMs just were going off for days, you know. And when I gave it to creators, the creators that I always dreamed of playing my games played it, which is really, really cool.
So
What's
your
this,
best
death balling. What's death balling?
Yeah, we can talk about that in a second. It's about my game. I don't want to put it in the middle of the interview.
Sure.
We have some issues. But so you are saying Reddit is probably the best place to advertise, and any other websites, YouTube, TikTok, not so much, because I don't think this type of game would even work on TikTok very much, even if you make it fast.
I think if you have more visual appeal, I think it would for sure. Like if you're making a horror game or something. But yeah, this doesn't really perform on video sites. The GIFs do pretty well because you can put like a little, snip of something on Reddit. The reason I do like Reddit though is because you don't need to have a following to get on the front page of Reddit. Like your post is its own post, and as long as people upvote it, and the integrity of the actual content / post that you're making is what comes to the front. I've tried to like build an X following. I've tried to build a YouTube following. I've tried to even build a TikTok following, and for me, the amount of work I was doing versus the return I was getting just wasn't worth it. So I think a game is a lot like, I'd say it's like, imagine each game is its own band. When you launch the band, you're starting from scratch, and people are going to be pumped about it because it's the first time they've seen it, and they've like, they have their opinion on it, whether they like it or not. And if enough people like it, then the following will come very, very quickly. But I see a lot of people that are building a following for their studio, or like, building a following as a dev, and then they will make very, very different games every time. Unless you've got the budget for a social media person like Devolver or someone like that, I just don't really think. I think it's worth trying these things to see what works. But if it doesn't work pretty quickly, I would probably say the biggest thing is get your game in front of creators and see what platforms actually do work for your game.
So if you were to make let's say like I don't want to go into Steam strategies too much because you can do so many things, but I feel like focusing on a good game would be the best thing. But let's say you were to make a new game from scratch, and obviously we talked about time, but like as a strategy, considering itch.io, considering Reddit, and considering Steam, like what would you do? Like as like a list of things to do.
So one thing I'd love to do is I would love to do itch. I'd love to do a browser version on itch because you can, if you've got something really spicy that people like. Spicy is probably the wrong word, but something that's a bit different and has the right type of like I think GNOMES would have done really well as a browser version on itch, but we didn't have the tech to do it because we're using some dependencies that just don't quite operate with web. A quirk of our engine. We've got a lot of benefits with the engine, but there's a few quirks, and that's one of them. If you sent me out on my own right now and you said to me, Tommy, make a game that makes a year's salary for you, I would probably make an incremental game and start by putting it on itch. But it doesn't go on itch until I've got a Steam page. The itch demo goes up before the Steam demo. And that's what I'd do. I'd probably make it. I think incrementals are pretty hot genre, like your idlers, like what's a good one? A good friend of mine just put out one called Nomad Idle, which was pretty cool.
I had one too,
a lot of Journey to Incrementalia, that was a pretty cool little one.
This one here?
Ones like Node Buster, great little game, this one.
We played in one of those too, let me find it.
So that if you sent me out on my own, I would do something like this in Godot. Or probably something even more simple, just to like get some eyeballs on a game and get some experience. Tower Wizard was a total vibe too. I really like that game. That's all it's got to be, like click the orb and get more powerful. People just love progression. That's like I think of Outhole. Yeah, that was a cool little one. I think this was on itch as well.
Yep, we played it on itch too. Yep. And I think it's... So how would you do it? Like you would set up a Steam page, and then with the launch of the Steam page, you would set up an itch page too, so that you gain traction from itch to Steam? What would you do?
I'm not 100% sure about how itch works, but I would release the demo on itch before I release the demo on Steam. And I would like link the Steam page, obviously. It's all about having like a call to action. Like all of your marketing activities, you need to convert it into something tangible, and that's what wishlists essentially are. So,
yeah.
Do you know how like wishlist emailing and everything works? Or?
Yeah, I think it's early access. You put if you put a 20% discount, you get an email.
So anytime you release a demo, you actually get to email all your wish listers. When you release either early access or 1.0, you get to email all your wish listers, and anytime you discount over 20%, yes. So
Okay.
that's another reason, like, just having lots of wish listers is great, because those are people that are, the second your game has something exciting happen, they're going to be all over it.
So wait, but the Steam demo email only happens once, right? It's not like you can activate the demo,
Yes.
make it public, then deactivate it again, make it public again. So, like, you know, flip it on and off, essentially. Because that's what I did.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, it's a real shame you did that too, because the demo juice is like something you can really leverage. There's actually they changed how demos work, because there used to be prologues on Steam, which are like, people were basically putting up free games to get wish lists. It was a demo basically. But now they have something called trending free, which means that if you get a certain amount of players playing your demo, you turn up in trending free and get, you know, a lot of traction. So that's what actually happened to this game, Nomad Idol. He ended up getting like 7,000 concurrent players or something absolutely insane like that. It was, I could not believe it. 7,000 people. That's enough to like fill up an arena.
Hmm. Oh, the
That's
demo
absolutely
is no longer there, isn't it? Nomad Idol demo. You probably disabled it. Like, we can talk about that too. You think keeping SteamDB? Do you think keeping the Steam page on your page is a good thing or not after release? I guess it's hit or miss, right?
I don't really think it matters, to be honest. I think there's a certain cohort of people that never play demos, and I think it's a pretty big one. I'm someone who will often play a demo just out of research purposes, but before that, I don't think I ever really played demos. I only ever played the real thing. I don't think the demo being there is deterring anyone from buying it. If they want to buy it, they probably want to play the whole thing. I know that there's a lot of people that say, oh, I played the demo for 10 minutes and I decided to buy it. I don't think we'll ever know, because it's not like you can concurrently have the same game with and without a demo. So every game's just so unique, and the way the audience is going to receive it's so unique that I think it's impossible to tell. I just think it's something I wouldn't stress about, to be honest.
I had a question that I also gave you. So for me, I don't have much time, so I played the demo first. And then I decided that, okay, I have finished the first map and I started the second map. I think I lost. And I was like, okay, so I got the idea of the mechanics. I understood what the game is going to be about. I have the shop. I can place my gnomes. I can move them between rounds. I've seen all of that in the demo, and I think I played like for like over an hour or something. I felt like, okay, I've seen most of the game. It'll repeat if I continue. What do you think of that? Or like, what would you say to that?
I think that it probably was a bit too generous of a demo. I would rather have it be too generous than not generous enough, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just, you know, it's a bygone, really. Like, what are we gonna do at this point? Like, we did it how we did it. I think what I was really concerned about was the median playtime, because I have heard whispers that that's something that Steam measures. I think concurrent player count is another one that Steam really cares about, especially with demos. So that's why I was leaning towards more generous.
Yeah, let me open that up. I think we could talk about that then. I'll just show my median playtime, and you can say, so since you keyed on that, what is a good time to have for a demo version in terms of median playtime?
Look, if you can get an hour, you're doing amazingly.
Okay.
But 30 minutes is normally pretty good, pretty solid.
Awesome.
I think it's probably a good indicator of like how many people are just picking up the game and bouncing. 24 minutes, that's pretty solid, yeah. I think that's actually about what GNOMES is too. So,
awesome.
But as you can see, the biggest cohort's that 1 to 10 minute people group of people. So for me, that's why I am so big on making your tutorial really, really like sharp and to the point. because so many people are just going to bounce at that 10-minute mark. If you've earned their attention enough for them to download your demo, you need to be able to grab them as quickly as possible and just get them straight into the action, I think. And as you can see, look at the sorry, you can't see me pointing on the right there. How many people are playing for 200 plus minutes? 198 people. So there's obviously a cohort of people that love the game. So that's, I guess, you need to figure out what they love and then what the 10-minute group hates.
Yeah,
and, do less of that and do more of it. Do more of that.
Yeah, no, I think I only learned about this like a year or two after releasing my first demo version, because when I first started out as a game developer, my goal was, okay, Steam. I get to Steam, I make a demo. Like I set up the Steam page at the same day as I uploaded the demo version, essentially. And I didn't know any better back then. It was, I think, 3 years ago or 2 years ago. And obviously you make these mistakes, but then later I realized that this time is actually really important. And if it's below 10 minutes, then you've got a problem. Because the game will probably not sell.
I think that the big thing for most people is they put too much attention on like actually pumping in lots and lots of content, and they just don't focus on like that, you know, that first minute or two of gameplay and just really grabbing people's attention. I think we could have even done a better job with GNOMES too, to be honest. I think there was a question I just saw there. What did I feel when my game went viral? Well, that's interesting because it never really felt like it went viral, because it was like, you know, when you're sitting behind the desk and you're looking at numbers go up, you're always like more. Like you just get that, like, you like have that you never like quite get to that moment. Even on release when we're in new and trending, I was still just like, oh whoa, like, you know, what's going to happen next? When's this going to take off? Like you always start to compare yourself to the next tier up. Like I remember I always said, oh, if I get 500 reviews and overwhelmingly positive on a game, I'm going to retire. And now I've done it. I'm like, oh, I can't retire because I've got so much more to give. Like, so I guess like, yeah, you got to humble yourself sometimes though, because like one thing I really have found amazing is just like when people actually message me and go, oh dude, I love your game so much, or like people in the community that are just loving the new content that we put in and that kind of thing. I think to me that's more that's more impactful than like seeing numbers go up, really. I mean, obviously selling games is great, and knowing that I can do this for a few more years without worrying too much is great. But yeah, I think, well, especially for Patrick, I know for sure, like that's the thing that gets him up and gets him moving. Like if you want to chat to Patrick, just join the Discord server and he'll send you a message straight away. He'll send you one of those emojis, the welcome emojis. Yeah. He's always on top of it.
No, yeah,
I try to talk from the podium a little bit more now, just because it's very, very time. It's both takes a lot of time, you know, going through all the feedback, and it's also hard to like craft a response to everyone. So I try to like collect all the stuff that's been happening that we know we need to address, and then sort of address it in like one big announcement or something like that these days.
Awesome. So to quickly go back on like this, it's not a step-by-step plan, but it's essentially like, okay, so you've crafted your game idea, you have set up your itch page and your Steam page, and you link from within the itch page to your Steam page, like a call to action, so that you can start gaining these wish lists. And obviously itch.io is already gonna tell you, okay, is your game gonna be, does it have appeal or not? Because you could see based on the downloads, the player numbers, and then you have your Steam page, and let's say that it has some sort of appeal. You gain some traction, and to Steam too. What would you do next after that step's done?
I think the most important thing is that you've got to make sure your funnel to convert people that are playing the itch demo and turn them into wish listers is there. So obviously this guy's got the wishlist on Steam icon down the bottom left. I might even like be a little bit more rude than that and interrupt them after like beating the first map or something like that, because you know that sort of thing. I mean, I'm giving you a free game. The least you can do is chuck me a wishlist, and most people are happy to do that. But from there, you're actually preparing for the real demo. This is both marketing and playtesting at the same time. You want to make sure that you're collecting all the feedback from the people that are playing the itch demo. So when it does hit Steam, not only are you giving them a version that's got some more content and a bit more to look forward to, but you've fixed everything that people had a problem with. So by the time it's on Steam and it's a demo, it's absolutely bulletproof. Because the itch audience, they're a bit more forgiving. Like they're going to accept a bug or whatever because they understand the platforms for prototypes. But on Steam, you're competing with like EA and Ubisoft. I mean, they make buggy pieces of shit all the time, but you get what I'm saying. I think the other thing that's really crucial though is before you put the demo out on Steam publicly, you need to give it to some people like the content creators. Because if you give them like a week head start and give them like early exclusive access, write them a really cool email, give them a press kit with all the things that you need in it, you know, things to make thumbnails or whatever. And yeah, just say your prayers to Gabe and hope they play it. Really, that's about all you can do. Because if you get someone like Splattercat or Northern Lion or whoever, by the time they put their video up and your demo comes out, you are set. Like that's basically your wish list sorted from there.
So it's like, to go into specifics, because I'm kind of stupid. You essentially mean, okay, I'll make a key for the demo, I'll send them that key, and then they play that demo. It's already active, it's already uploaded on Steam, but just not the normal people cannot see it yet because it's not been released yet.
I use the playtest feature for Steam to do that. So the playtesters are playing the same version as the content creators, but you know that it doesn't really matter. Sometimes you'll have some wanker say, "Oh, I'm not playing this. This is a playtest." I'm like, "Oh, whatever, man. Like, I don't need to explain this to you."
Yeah. It's like some idiots.
But the people that do matter, they know better. So it's fine.
They will not understand. Yeah. The only thing that I don't really like about the demo version is, I guess I'm in a unique case. If you ever want to reset the stats, you can't. So let's say you make a groundbreaking feature change in your game, which obviously is not a good thing to do. I know that now, after having done that so many times. Yeah. You can't really tell, since these stats, they only accumulate. So let's say you have a really good demo, then you can't really tell, okay, what's my median playtime now?
Yeah, you're right. That is a bit of a problem. I guess that what I do try to think about is by the time I'm making the game public, I've made most of those decisions already. And there probably isn't really going to be too much that's going to change.
Yep.
I know right before we put the Steam demo out, me and Patrick were like nearly going to get in fist fights over what features we're going to go in, because we both had passionate ideas about what it should be. I mean, not literally, but we did have some pretty strong disagreements. But in the end, the decisions that were made were, you know, we won't know how it would have gone the other way, but the decisions that we made paid off. So I can actually give you an example of a game. It was called Megaloot, that had some really, really positive reviews, and the developer post-launch decided to change just a tiny little feature, and
even this guy played it.
Just tanked.
Damn. Hey, we talked about that game, yeah. Holy.
Yeah, so this game was beloved, and the developer just decided to change one thing about it that he thought was, you know, a bit cheesy, and apparently the players loved it. He didn't check with the players, and, you know, it's too late for him to take it back, really. So I really worry about that all the time as well. So, you know, that's why me and Patrick, when we do make a change, we always try to clear it with each other and maybe test it with some of the core community members just to see how it's received before it goes in. Because once you put it out there, it's very hard to undo it.
I mean, really? Okay, I want to understand that, because I feel like I missed something. Let's say I make a patch that sucks, people hate it. Can't I just make another patch and remove it? Or am I just thinking too easily?
I haven't been in that situation exactly, so I can't tell you how it would go down. But typically, you know, there's going to be someone, if the game fundamentally changes, someone's not going to be happy about it. Especially if you've got an existing audience. If you've got, you know, if there's no one currently playing the game, it probably doesn't hurt. But if you've got, you know, a pretty consistent player base, and then you go and change something major, the people that are playing it and are happy about it, you know, there's a very good chance that they may not be stoked about it, unless what I'm talking about here is like nerfing their favorite item, or like, you know, removing a way to cheese something or whatever because you think it makes the game better. What they actually want, and what you think they want, might not always be the same thing. I feel like if it's not broke, you don't fix it. Kind of.
Okay. Listen to that. Okay. We have the same situation in my game in a way, but yeah, that's a different story. We can talk about that at the end. Let me see here if I missed something on the questions here. We talked about Reddit. I think that's important. We talked about, okay, now you have your demo out on Steam, and then you probably do Next Fest after the demo, and then you'll prepare for launch. That's probably like the normal life cycle.
I've got one note for Next Fest, which is that when you plan to release your game, you should do Next Fest as close to your launch date as possible. So the last possible launch date you can choose, if that makes sense. So if you're releasing your game in April, do Next Fest in February.
January, February, March, April. So like that would be 2 months before. So
yes.
Okay, about a 2-month window after Next Fest. Why do you think that? What's the reason for that?
Because your game's going to be the furthest down the pipeline. It's going to be the best version of the demo possible. And you're going to have the most content. You're going to have the most polished version of the game. And your game's probably going to get a bit of added attention at that time, and you probably want that closer to launch. Another thing about Next Fest as well, I can't tell you exactly how it works, but games that are already popular, or, you know, they have a lot of wish lists, they tend to do better. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe. Okay. Yeah, so that's another thing, I guess. So rather than like I see a lot of people will put their demo up and then they'll go straight into the next Fest that's available, but then they keep their game in development for another year. So I would say do the exact opposite of that.
Okay. I mean, the way you're talking about it would lead to the conclusion that, okay, by the time you're putting your game out on itch, you're already very far into development. You have built the systems to a degree where they will not change, even if you have people giving you feedback, because you have ironed them out.
Oh, look, I would say if you are going to make a change while there's a public demo out, do it while it's the itch demo. Like if the itch demo and the Steam demo are different, I think that's forgivable. But once your Steam demo's out, unless, you know, you have something really egregious that you need to fix, I would probably try and stick to your guns, you know what I mean? I think a lot of these things you should have probably figured it out during playtesting earlier, when you were showing it to people from Reddit, or, you know, or from itch, like we just said, you know.
And that's something you do prior even to the itch demo, probably, right? You give out this playtest to people on Reddit. So to reiterate for those who are interested in this, because it's also for me, let's say we're making a new game and we give ourselves a time budget, because we don't have endlessly to make that game. We start building it to a point where we have something playable. Then we ask Reddit to play the game, and we give them keys for the full version of the game on Steam. Which probably doesn't work when you don't have a Steam page yet, right?
You don't want to play test until you have a Steam page, because it's actually a marketing exercise. Public play testing I'm talking about here. Yeah. So this is before there's a demo available anywhere. You want to play test with people from Reddit. You give them playtest keys, which are a separate app to the demo. And that way, you know, they still don't have access to the full game. In saying that, you know, if most of these people that play test, I would say 80% of them you're probably never going to hear from again, or even at all. But then there's that other 20% that might end up being your super fans kind of thing.
So interesting, because we talked about this. We thought actually that you gave out 300 real keys then to those people.
No. They were playtest keys.
Okay, I see.
So,
see, guys, so it's not real keys. Because I was thinking about that. Man, this guy gave out 300 keys. That's like 300 potential reviews of the game, right? So, but
yeah, of course, and that's another thing to remember is that when you give out a key, that's a review you can't get too.
Yeah. Okay, so so basically you give them the playtest keys. Okay, I get it. So basically, to reiterate again, because it's also for me. Okay, I need to let that sink in, because I'll probably release my game this year, and then we'll do like the way you did with GNOMES. We'll do smaller games to figure out, okay, how can we do the process in the right way. You set up the Steam page while you develop the game, and then as you launch to itch, and maybe even prior, you start making Reddit posts and give them playtest keys to playtest. And then the itch demo is somewhat already stable because of that. And that's when you, after that, you're ready for the Steam page. And then you move on. The demo.
That's right. Anytime someone can just click download on your game, it's a release, and you should treat it like one.
Okay. Okay, good. Awesome. Let me check if we forgot something. Maybe someone in chat has another question. I can hear. We have some questions from Huan Seastar, which is more about productivity. I think that could be interesting. What does a productive day look like for you as an indie developer? How much do you work, and how do you balance that with, let's say, family and friends?
Yeah, look, I've definitely paid the price, to be honest with you. I think I've, a lot of my relationships have suffered, and a lot of, my physical health's also suffered producing this game, because it was, it was a really make or break kind of project for us. It was basically, if this doesn't work, I got to go get a real job again, which is something I really didn't want to do. And luckily I didn't have to. So for me, during GNOMES, it was like, wake up, first thing I'm thinking about is GNOMES, have a coffee, get on the computer, off I go, and I'm just doing something until I'm lucky that my fiance is very regimented and very rigid with her schedule. So I have to get off for dinner time, and she'll make me go and see our friends and that kind of stuff. So I'm very, very lucky. I think that going forward though, I will try and do something a lot more balanced. Like since launch, I've been trying to hit the gym again, and
Awesome.
Now that I've got budget outside of ramen noodles, I've been eating a bit better and that kind of thing. So
Nice.
yeah. I guess like I've developed a lot of really close relationships with people online and stuff like that. But being in Australia, I'm kind of on a rock over here, and I can't go and really see someone without getting on a flight. But yeah, like just taking the time to go and catch up with my friends that I haven't seen for a year or two has been, or haven't really seen regularly like I used to. So I look, honestly, I'm probably the worst person to be getting advice on work-life balance, but I can tell you now that after going through what we went through with GNOMES, if I could do it differently, I would have definitely taken a little bit more time and looked after myself a bit better while I did it.
I think that's what you're describing, though, is probably mostly everyone's same mistakes. Like as you get into doing something, and you can even, especially when you see success, you're just so excited to keep just doing it until see it to the end.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's when you just make these sacrifices, and you just keep pushing until you realize, oh, wait a minute, that is actually not sustainable. And then you find a better solution. Let me see here. I think we could talk about this then. Like, did you experience any form of burnout when you worked that much then?
Yeah, definitely. I think the thing that really kept us going though was like watching numbers go up, and community members telling us how much they love what we're doing. That was something that really kept us going. The biggest thing that like made it hard was just being pretty broke the whole time, to be honest, because it also meant that I couldn't, you know, go down to the pub for a beer. Well, I mean, I could, but I was spending money I shouldn't have been spending and that kind of thing. Or, you know, if my friends were all like, "Hey, we're going away for the weekend to do this," I'm like, "Sorry guys, I can't. I'm broke." You know, like so that was probably the hardest part of everything, I would say, is was going through that. Patrick and I, you know, there was a few times where we would have some disagreements and stuff that probably wouldn't have happened if we just took our time a bit more. You know, we were both. I think if anything, like he's, you know, even more hardworking than I am in a lot of ways. Like it's harder to get him off than me, and that's kind of what I'm focused on at the moment. We call it the mana bar, you know, and when the mana bar runs dry, you need to do something to regen the mana, and sometimes that means going and touching some grass or whatever. But yeah, look, it's like Patrick doesn't even take a day off because it's just all he wants to do, and sometimes I have to kick him in the backside and tell him to have a day off.
I think that this type of work, it's obviously not sustainable, but it's more sustainable, let's say, that on smaller projects rather than on bigger. Sure. And once you then release, you have this off time where you finally see, oh, wait a minute, we did that stupidly, we should have done it better.
I will say we're only really getting the downtime about now, actually, because after launch, it was just like, we thought, oh, it's going to be a big relief, but it was the exact opposite. There was like thousands of people playing the game and giving us feedback, and there's all these bugs and stuff that we've got to fix, and there were certain people that couldn't even launch the game. And,
oh man!
And yeah, so there was all sorts of stuff, and I feel so grateful for what Patrick did just to make all of that work. And you know, the very least I can do is, you know, at least get in there and try and collect all the data for him so he knows what people are saying and you know what he actually does need to do. But now that we've got a bit of downtime, like I guess like the thing that fixed our burnout was starting to work on something new, funny enough. Like
awesome.
Being like it no longer felt like being creative with GNOMES because we weren't really doing anything new. But now that we're learning a couple of new techniques and we've got to design some new mechanics and that kind of stuff, it's like, oh, it's all exciting and shiny and new again. So I guess, yeah, that's another argument for why you should make small games, is that you don't get stuck on the same thing for years and years.
You know what I think it is? As you get closer into development, and I noticed that too, you have developed the systems, you have gotten your feedback, you have changed the game in a way where it fits most of your players' feedback. Now you gotta work on content, which is actually the easy part, but it's also the most repetitive task. So it becomes, I think it just becomes a little dry, because all you're thinking about is, oh, we're making this new enemy or we're making this new map, but it's mostly the same because you've already built it. And I think that's when you start to get bored a bit, and you think about, oh, if I did Noita or whatever project I always wanted to do, let me see how that goes. Yeah. I think that's what it is, actually.
Definitely sometimes for me, the creative and content is actually like the bulk of my work, which is kind of interesting. So for GNOMES, like we got to work in parallel. Like Patrick will do all the procedural generation and stuff for the maps, but you know, I've got to create all the assets and I've got to create all the music and the sounds and everything like that. Together, where we meet is like we talk about like, oh, what are the mechanics for this new goblin and that kind of thing. I think the first time around, like creating the first 8 maps, it was like, oh, it was just a joy. It was like the part that the 10% that we were just looking forward to. The other 90%, you know, we did it all to get there. But then when it came to creating these newer maps, and you know, we needed to get a content update out there because, you know, we had this opportunity to put a big marketing beat together. We really had to flog ourselves to get there, and like without like the community support, we would have not made it, I don't think. But yeah, it was definitely a lot harder that time around for sure.
And that was mostly also because of the community support when talking about the translations, correct?
Oh yes, so the translations, but also just like the people that play the new stuff and told us what they thought of it. And you know, just a constant flow of new people that we've never seen before jumping in and going, holy shit, I found this game and I love it. Thanks guys for making it. You know, it's just like waking up in the morning and reading some of that stuff's like, you know, it's a pretty good little thing to get out of bed to, I guess.
Interesting that, and so I would assume now you would probably use the playtest feature of Steam again for that measure. So you have like your game is out or your demo's out. You use the playtest to figure out, okay, do you like it? Yes. Let's put it on the demo or the release. And that's when you do the big push, right?
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah, that was
we always have it in parallel. There's always like a playtest version that's got all the new features or whatever's coming out. So we always try to make sure that there's a few people with that at all times, and we always kind of replenish that group of people because they drop off over time. You know, when someone comes in ranting and raving about how much they love it, we go, hey, do you want to be a playtester and try this new thing? Sure. Give them a key. And, you know, if we do that, you know, for a few people a week, then we constantly have like a fresh group of playtesters that are able to check this kind of thing. Yeah, I've got my cloak of invisibility on again.
Oh, damn. I was reading through some of the questions in chat because it looks like I feel usually torn between showing a prototype too early. I can't find that original question. I guess it's here. I feel like that's an interesting one. I usually feel torn between showing a prototype too early and spending too long on it without knowing if people find it interesting. From your experience, when is the right time to start showing a prototype?
So we talked about this a little bit earlier on about like when you're playtesting with people and watching them directly. So this is a bit different to Reddit playtesting or, you know, like just letting it out in the wild and waiting for people to just give you feedback. This is more like you ask someone that you know who you know might like this kind of game to play it. You put it in front of them and you just watch them, and you don't tell them how to play it. You see if they can figure it out, and you sort of take notes and go, oh, what did they assume that certain things would do, or, you know, how did they try to do certain mechanics? And then from there you can go back to the drawing board and make like a massive marginal improvement versus just guessing yourself. Because as a developer, you've got like your dev goggles on that are like, you don't actually know what's easy to understand and hard to understand. So that's a really, really big thing, I think. Once you've kind of found the type of player that likes your game, you know, I'm sure if you're making a game that's something you like, I'm sure you've probably got some friends that like it too. The easiest way to know though is if they're still playing your game after you've asked them to play test it. It's probably a good one. And the other thing is, do you enjoy playing your game? One of the things I really loved about making GNOMES was that every time we added something new to the game, it added more fun for us. Like we were the biggest playtesters because we found the game challenging and interesting. Even with all of our developer knowledge, it was still fun for us to play every run because of the randomness and the replayability we added to the game.
Awesome. I hope that answered your question, bro. I think it was a good one. Really good question. Because it's mostly the most important part that I learned over these couple of years is the feedback. Because oftentimes you can get around in things that you might want to do, but then you realize, wait, after doing the playtest, these things are actually not important at all. And I've been wasting my time. Because that's not what the players want.
100%. You'd be so surprised, like, what the players just don't care about. You know, like some of the things you're like, oh, this is a bit jank, and then it actually turns out to be a feature. You know, like I guess like when there's completely unexpected, unintended gameplay consequences that kind of break the game, sometimes you need to save them from themselves. Like they'll ask for a feature and you're like, oh, I don't think you really want this. You know, I'm going to pull rank here as the dev and just say, I don't think you want this. But in a lot of cases, you know, there might be something that you thought people were really going to care about, and yeah, they just don't. A lot of time removing features is actually the way to improve your game.
Sorry, give me one question. I'm being called by my wife. Gotta quickly hold. I'll be right back.
That's all right. I'll try to talk to chat while we're here. I'll maximize your screen time.
We have a question from chat which I think might be interesting. How to find partners to make games with, from Frostcop earlier.
Oh, okay. That's a great question. I can probably answer that while you chat to your wife. So I think the biggest thing is you need to find someone who has like a similar taste in games to you. Like if you have someone that wants to make a huge open world RPG, but you want to make like small, tactical games, then it's probably not going to be the best. It's probably not going to be the best team. You know, you need to have that sort of synergy, so to speak. I think. Look, you can find people online. There might be people in your life already that you know who are like interested in dipping their toes in making games. I actually met my partner for GNOMES at a Gamedev meetup, a local one, and it just happened to be that we were both there on the same night, and we both bumped into each other with a beer and had a chat for a couple of hours, and got each other on Discord, and that's sort of how it worked for me. Will there be a GNOMES 2? Look, I think that if there is going to be a GNOMES 2, it's not going to be for a little while yet. I think we're a little bit gnomesed out for the minute. I would probably say if we were going to do a GNOMES 2, it would have to be a substantial... there would have to probably be a substantial visual upgrade. Like, I don't want to say it's going to be GNOMES 2 3D or something like that, but I don't really think that we could do the same gimmicks and stuff all over again. So I won't say no, but I'm going to say not right now for GNOMES 2. Did I use a game design document? Sorry, I'm just taking over the interview. The chat's taking over the interview, man. So did I use a game design document? I think that kind of. We just had like I actually used something called a scallage rule, which I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but it's more of a visual kind of thing where I can plant little shapes out and that kind of stuff, and I can create like a really rough UI mock-up and that sort of stuff. I'll write like a list of like the game flow and that kind of thing. I don't really answer like questions like a game design document. But one of the first things that ever came with GNOMES was actually a mock-up of the art before there was any lines of code even written at all, which sort of had these gnomes that are on screen right now. It had these sunflowers that are on screen right now, and it also had the same garden shed as well as like some different textures and that kind of stuff. It didn't quite look like what it did now, but when I pitched the idea of GNOMES to Patrick, I was like, hey, this is what it is, and I gave him like an animated GIF of what I wanted the game to look like, and he was like sold instantly, and we both knew what the game was going to be.
Question from me, quickly. How did you make that animated GIF? Like, that's a proof of concept, right? You just drew
use
it?
A-Sprite.
Okay, so you just drew, I don't know, yeah?
I might even be able to find it if you just give me a second.
Yeah, also, that would be
I
great.
don't know if you want to derail the interview, but it could be GNOMES mock.
And bro, what is ROI-driven development, man? You're constantly developing based on ROI, Cakez. What does that mean, man? What is ROI?
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, he's trying to make a joke. I know it. Return of investment.
I found it. Oh, okay. I'll send you this GIF. It's I will find it a little bit since because I kept working on it and like ripping parts out of it. But let me just see. GNOMES mock-up GIFs.
Okay, let me check.
So hang on, I'll just drag it into our chat real quick. That might take a second to load up. Oh, 140 kilobytes will be right. Great. So maybe you can show chat. This is what the GNOMES mockup looked like before.
Wait, let me download it.
So before GNOMES existed. This is actually before Patrick had his 2 cents as well, and decided that the pathing was going to be just generated with each goblin, and also before the map expanded too.
Just one second. Trying to download it.
mode.
Yeah, I'm trying to download it and it's on top of Discord. Let me save it. I'll just put it here, it's fine. There we go. And then I'll close that. So you guys can see him again. Sorry, guys. We've got some high quality tech, but you know, sometimes it doesn't work perfectly. Let me see, where was that? Here.
That's it.
What was it called again?
Updated revenue number. Geez, let me pull it out.
It's probably almost
Definitely
400k, I would assume.
I hope so.
I mean, let's see if that's
Hopefully I'm logged in already. Well, the thing is, the number that everyone's talking about is actually the gross number, so it's not real. It's gross 380 and we're net 314. So, you know, that's, if I was working a tech job, that's, you know, a year's salary, isn't it? That's, so this, yeah, this was just like a ugly ass little gift that I made. It's not, this was a little bit more refined to the first version I sent him, but actually I lied, they are different shed and different sunflowers, but the idea was that they would be statues, but we kind of liked the idea of them being living. And the shotgun gnomes turned into blunderbuss gnomes eventually. So I'll often like do a I'll often do like a fake capsule art as well, just to try and pitch. I'll see if I can find that if you're interested as well. But I mean, I don't want to derail the conversation too much. So I've actually got a new PC too, so it's a bit hard for me to figure out where I put all this shit.
It's awesome that they saved all of these things, because some people just lose their things when they switch PCs, or it's so old they've lost it. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I've just got a huge pixel art folder, which wherever I create something, I will just leave it in there in whatever. Yeah, my filing system's terrible, but I have this awesome app called Everything, so I just type in what I think the file might be called, and yeah, hopefully it'll turn up.
Also, like you said, based on your experience, right? You have 3 years of experience with pixel art, or how long do you have worked with this?
So that's actually a cool story. When I was working on Sea of Survivors, we were working on different games, and we like hired an artist for this first concept we did, and it cost us a lot of money. It was like $10,000, and we didn't really even get what we paid for. Bruh. And I just said, this game is just too big. We need to make something little, and we ended up with Sea of Survivors. And one night I just went, we're not paying an artist, I'm going to figure this out. Downloaded Sprite and just like did a few pixel art tutorials, and I ended up doing like a really rough version of this ship that you see now on screen. It's changed a lot since then. Yeah, this perspective, it kind of made the game, that's the perfect top down, kind of made it a little bit easier to get started, but it quickly led to a lot of limitations, and it made it like, so that I was a lot slower, and I found things a lot more difficult. I definitely wouldn't do this perspective again, but I'm glad I did get started with it, because it made it, the floor of entry was a lot lower. But yeah, there was a lot of help I got from the devs. Like that explosion is all Unity VFX stuff, and like the water's all Unity VFX stuff.
I was wondering about
just
that.
UI and like, yeah, they did an awesome job with that water, actually.
Yeah,
really
looks
like
good.
that.
I mean, there's so many things you don't understand go on unless you don't know them, right? It's a gradient, then it's different particle effects, and there's another particle effect for the water. So many things that go on here.
Yeah, I was lucky that the guy who was the lead on this project, despite not being an artist, the way he puts it is he just doesn't have the patience for it. And he's a programmer too, so, you know, anyway, different strokes for different folks. But he actually had some really solid like art theory advice for me, which was like, let's just stick to like an 8 color palette and we'll slowly make it bigger over time. And that's what we did. And that's sort of how we kept everything really consistent and like got an okay. I mean, a lot of people really like this art style. I look back at it now and it's kind of like, you know, listening to the first song you ever recorded, it's like you kind of can't help but cringing a little bit. But I do really think for what this game was, like, I'm super proud of how it turned out and what we had and the resources we started with. Like, yeah, I was really stoked with what we managed to do.
To be honest, I think it looks amazing.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And once again, it's that visceral factor I was telling you about, all the moving parts. Like, makes it everything on its own. You know, it looks okay, but when you've got the explosions and the coins flying around and, you know, all the VFX, like, it all really adds up. And we're lucky that the standard for the Vampire Survivor like genre was not really set that high. So it made someone like me who just had no idea. It gave us a chance at least.
You are right about it not being that high, because the effects look cheap, but when you go into detail about how these effects are actually made, there's a lot of stuff, programming stuff, that goes behind this, especially just a small little beam that changes direction. That is a trail of vertices that you need to generate, and there's so much stuff that goes, and then the chest opening, the animation for that is just so many different effects layered on top of each other.
Yeah.
And you don't even realize how much goes into this.
Now I'm thinking about it, I can't believe how much art actually went into this game. It's like crazy how much art actually went in. I think a big thing that we were talking about earlier is like what the players actually want. And something we did with Sea of Survivors was we didn't really think about what players actually want. We kind of just did what we wanted a bit too much. Or like we'd make too many assumptions about what players want, and we'd add whole features or whatever, and we drop it to radio silence, and then we'd do one other feature that was kind of low effort, and everyone would be stoked about it, you know. Or, you know, we added a new boss or something like that, and everyone loved the new boss. So that's the sort of stuff that people wanted. But instead, we kept trying to iterate on features that were already well established, and if anything, it kind of just upset some people. Like, if you look at the reviews, not that you need to look at the reviews, it'll make me nervous, but you'll probably see that there's people complaining about changes that we made to existing content, right?
Yeah, sounds familiar. That's great. Let's talk about a different topic, shall we? You had something else that you wanted to show, or did I misinterpret that?
I did. I couldn't find it. I'm sorry. I got sidetracked.
Okay,
it was
that's fine.
Just like mock-up capsule art.
I don't know if he can answer that, Spirit of Steel, about Rust and OpenGL and WebGPU Create. That's probably a question for Patrick.
Yeah, I'll make sure Patrick, if you want to chat to him, I'll let him know, and you can.
Yeah, I'll have to do a Rust stream before, so I know what Rust is.
Oh, great.
Yeah, not so much. I don't think it's great.
He's an awesome teacher too, so
yeah,
he might.
And maybe he joins and he can backseat me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd love that.
Yeah. Let me see here.
He's a great guy to work with.
You answered the question about how to find people, right? I'll probably just rewatch that then, because I find that an interesting one, because most people start alone.
Go to meetups, join Discord servers, just meet people that are making games, and you'll find people that, I think the biggest thing you've got to do is find people that can do what you can't do, because there's no point in getting another developer if you're already a good developer, right?
Yeah,
you need to find someone who can do all the pieces you haven't got.
Code and greasing, exactly, working in AAA. Well, okay, yeah, sounds like a smart idea. Okay, guys, type in GNOMES if you want to get another key. Let's see if ByteUL, you're not part of this, right? Aha! This guy entered again, but you're not eligible. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a couple more seconds if you want to get a free key for GNOMES. But yeah, what you gonna do with that key, man? Interesting. Awesome. Let's see. While we wait for some more people to type GNOMES, let's see. Did we miss any of the questions? Do you feel like we missed something? Farmer has been spamming questions. Let me see. What did you talk about here? Started with an idea better than... Do you think starting with an idea is better than starting randomly, like Sandbox versus... Sure. I mean, do you think starting with an idea? Yeah.
Well, it depends. Like, what's the idea for the sandbox is the question, because a sandbox can mean anything really. I definitely think like if you make a game that feels a bit like a Lego set, that's definitely a good avenue. Like you've got a lot of moving parts, and you can you basically build the solution to the game. I guess like you unlock relics, or you build the towers you want in a tower defense game kind of thing. A good like Slay the Spire is a game where it might not be quite literally a Lego set, but you go into the shop and you buy the cards you want and you discard the cards you don't want, and you're sort of building your own little machine to try and beat all 3 floors, right?
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Let's see who's the winner. 69, perfect. Choose a winner. Why's it always getting these regulars on my stream, bro? You sure you want? Don't you already have it? That's the guy that got me in contact with you, Mr. Null Exception.
Ah, nice one. Thanks, Null Exception.
You're not going to give the key to Byte UL, man. This is rigged. Should I choose a different winner? Yeah, it's all good. Reroll. Okay, I'm gonna reroll you guys. Gabriel. Okay, awesome.
Very gracious.
There we go. Let me write you on stream. On Twitch. I'll write you a message on Twitch. Okay, bro? Gabriel Jellison. Here we go. Hey, man. Please let me know if you're here. I already bought...
a nice freeze frame you got of me there.
Another freeze frame? You know what happens? It's Discord that lags, and then if it's not like the top window, so I'm trying to constantly balance the top window on Discord so that it doesn't freeze you. All right, so we're gonna re-roll again. Guys, if you already have the game, please don't enter. It's GNOMES. Okay. Patch pending. Patch pending. My man. Congratulations. I'll write to you again. Let me know if you're here, please. There we go. Awesome. Great interview. Awesome. Glad you like it, guys. Yeah, like if there's any additional questions, yeah, and thank you very much for doing this. Like on the top of, how do you say that? On a whim, essentially, wasn't planned at all.
So,
just happened.
Null Exception just dropped me a DM and said you mentioned the game on stream, and what I emailed you and said, hey, do you want to chat, man? And off we went. We were actually meant to chat on Friday night, but when you got back to me, I was at the pub having dinner with my fiance, and I end up sending you a message. Hey man, I think I'm a little bit too drunk for this.
Yeah. That's fine.
So here we are. So I'm glad that's how it worked.
I mean, it was a Friday evening, right? So totally normal.
Yeah, I ended up singing karaoke and everything. It was wild.
Cakez, you did not ask my questions. It made me sad. Okay, what did you ask? Let me see. Where can we enter? Bro, you type in gnomes. Yeah, there we go. Question. Do you write spaghetti code? Okay, you banned actually 5 minutes. This is it's not it's about making games, man, okay? We don't care about the code. I mean, you could touch on it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. See?
Players can't code, most of them, so it's all good.
Exactly. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Person is here. I'll delete the keys so we know which ones we have already taken. So there's 2 keys down. Let us close. Let me check. So I'm gonna keep the entries on, guys. Winner. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep. This is awesome. we don't have to redo it. Keep typing gnomes if you want to enter the giveaway, guys. We have 2 more keys to give away. Let me know, please, if the key worked. Thank you. Yeah, please let me know if it worked. Awesome. I think I wanted to put this at the end. You don't often get to talk to someone who is shipped. I would call it 2 successful games, because most people that ship games to Steam don't even get to 10 reviews, which we talked about this earlier. I think that could have been figured out here on your demo, at the least.
Oh, look, I definitely think Sea of Survivors was a success. It's just our post-launch management was what made it not viable to continue fully, so to speak. We spent too much time cooking on it when we should have just got it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so,
what are we?
You're gonna.
Are we gonna have a look at Tangy TD? Are we?
Yeah. We're gonna look at my game. I've basically. My game is like, I tried everything and look what works. And that's basically the story of my life. So it is... I can give a little bit of background. Just short. Cakez. The game originally... Cakez TD itch. No, itch.
Right, I was actually wondering about this. So... Did you end up changing the name while it was on Steam, or Cakez TD is
I had to write
version?
Steam.
Okay, yep.
This was the game originally after about a year of development. And it looks vastly different from what it is now. Let me open it up on Steam, actually.
How did it perform when it was on itch?
Not that... I mean, I think I can show that, right? It's not that problematic. Like, you can go to your... Here. You can go to your dashboard. And let's remind me later. The analytics for that here. I wonder if you...
people have paid for it too, nice.
Yeah, a couple. Like, I think it was also because I was streaming, though. I don't think this would happen
Gotcha.
a lot. I don't even know. Like, it's gotta be 2023. I suppose. And then... Let's do... Wait, you cannot go...
Look, first things first, it's gotten way more downloads than GNOMES does on itch, so you've got
But it's
that.
also over multiple years.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And let me see here. I'll try to figure out how to use this thing, because it's actually really annoying. Huh? I selected 2020. So I can only select a year, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's essentially what it looked like over the course of a year. It's like 700 downloads and a couple of... And GNOMES has an itch page too? Really?
Kind of. I put a demo itch page up, and just no one ever downloaded it. So it's actually got all the old art. It's like a really old cooked version of the game. You have to download the zip. Because we didn't actually have, we didn't have the browser capacity to, the browser capabilities.
Oh, smart.
But the main thing is
that
it links to the Steam page. So yeah, that's right. Call to actions. Link everything to the funnel. Everything in the funnel should be going to your Steam page. Yeah, well, look, I actually did a little bit of a look at Tangy earlier. I'm still sitting here like a headless zombie too, in case everyone wants to.
Oh yeah, wait. Should be better now. Yeah, awesome.
So, I think what's gone wrong, you already know about it. So I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you what what your page looks like right now. You've got multiple biomes in your screenshots. They all look nice. Your art styles, you've like leveled it up from the itch demo. You've got great capsule art. I think the easiest thing you could do right this minute to improve your odds would be change your tags up, because you've got some like very top level tags like action and strategy, which are like huge pools of games where you're not really going to stand a chance. If you're a AAA game, maybe that would count, but I would like sooner focus on you know, some more niche tags. I haven't got a list of tags in front of me, but maybe we could do it together. Maybe we could jump on the tag wizard and have a look. What do you
Sure. We can do that. Let me see. We could click on the game here. There we go. And I think stoppage.
If you go to edit saw page, yep, should be the first page, I think. So this is something I do pretty regularly. I update my tags pretty frequently because, you know, it's nice to sort of like just try out different things and see what's working, I think.
Do you change these too? These keywords?
Nah, I don't really bother with those.
Okay.
I don't even know if that does anything.
Okay. Let me see here. Where is it? Here. Tag my title.
Yeah, there you go. Cool.
What I noticed...
So there's a few tag...
Yeah. So what I noticed is... I don't know if that has anything to do with this, but the impressions for my tags have basically almost drilled down to 0 over the course of 2 years on Steam. And it's a bit odd. I've posted it once. I don't know if I can find it on Discord, but essentially my impression graph from Steam is not stable anymore, but it's like actually completely gone down over time, which is kind of sucks. Gotta be honest here. Yeah.
Look, you know. So I was just looking at some other games and Thronefall's music started playing because I thought Thronefall would definitely have a couple of tags that would be worth pinching. I would probably look. I don't think I'd give you base building, but maybe you could. What do I use for gnomes? I normally just skip through to the last page and then.
So you just go click next and oh god, yeah, it lags sometimes. This page, and you keep going until it asks you, are you sure about these tags, and then you decide on your own, right?
Yep.
Where is it? Problem is that this is laggy sometimes, so you can click too many times. Players. Oi. What else?
Nice. So, I think that tactical is actually a really solid tag, but strategy 2D might be all a little bit. 2D is like too general. I think, and you're also covering that with pixel art as well. Like,
I see.
What else can we look at? Have you got roguelite?
Think I have. Like we search for additional roguelite, right? No, we don't. Should I keep it? Like add it?
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, I reckon add that. You know what? Actually, I do see people do quite often is games that are kind of very, very, very borderlining roguelike deck builder. They put that in as a tag too. I actually tried it out for GNOMES as well.
Deck builder?
And it did work. You wrote, yeah, that's right. Deck builder.
That's funny.
Okay. Geez, what else?
Can you read it? Is it too small? Or is it fine?
What else? I'm just gonna go back to that tag page now. Hang on. Sorry, I'm.
Wait, should I go next? Wait, maybe. Wait. Where's that big list? Ah, here. Wait, but
I'd probably add something like. I'd probably add something like replay value is a good one. I might even say economy is a good one as well. So what we want to do is we want to try and break this down to like very niche tags rather than like the big tags. I don't know if you could quite call what you've got base building, but there's definitely some economy elements for sure.
Wait, economy.
And your game's not turn-based at all, is it? No. The turn-based tags are really good in general. Yeah, in general, like I would just be looking at tags that are very like zoomed in versus like the general tags of you know, your strategy genre, or like indie's not a great one. Early access is not a great one either. But I think you might actually have to have it if you're an early access game.
Yeah, I will go into early access. So you wouldn't even choose any top level genre, but don't you have to choose one? at minimum.
I don't think you actually do. I don't think you actually have to.
None defined. Okay. Okay, well, roguelike tower defense is probably good. Yeah, I mean, city builder is a
Sure.
I think that's a bit much. I
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know if these guys need to watch us go through your Steam tags. I guess that's probably a little bit boring for the chat. But yeah, look. So I did write a couple of notes. So the big note was some of the tags were a bit generic. So more specific niche tags might be better.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the trailer could slap a bit harder. So more intense music, faster cuts, some transition SFX. We already spoke about that anyway.
Mm.
And look, we already talked about why it might not have popped off. And the first thing is that you basically have changed what game is on the Steam page. When you put it in 2023, it probably looked very different. The demo, I mean, you said it was a pretty different demo when you released it.
Yeah.
But I do have one question. You recently had a peak of 40 players. What caused that?
Let me see. I think it was the stream. Let me see. I actually can see that here, right?
It
was
your stream or someone else?
No, I think it was my stream. Yeah. I asked people to playtest a feature. And you mean, I think this bump here, right?
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so this was the new demo release early this year. The first one after 2 years. And then I put it on private again. Made changes according to the feedback.
Oh, okay.
And so basically, what you described as the playtest, I used the demo for.
Yeah, okay. That's fair enough. Look, the truth is that when you released this demo, the meta was very different to what it is now. The meta actually changed, like it might have even been this year, which I was talking about earlier, how there's now trending free. There's also now like the separate demo pages as well, where you can get reviews and stuff like that. I don't know if that's going to really help you at this point. But I guess the best thing we can do is like, let's take stock. Are you happy to tell me how many wish lists you got?
Yeah, let me see. I think it's 1,400.
1,400.
So not much. It's definitely gone up this year. I managed to only have 700 after 2 years, so that's actually it's even worse. It's 1,200. So I have gained 500-600 this year, maybe a bit more, but not much. So it's not looking too great.
1,400 is you're about you're probably around about 20% to where you need to be. You probably, before Steam will put you in popular upcoming, you need about 7,000 to get actually put in the algo. So you've got to ask yourself, am I going to be able to get 7,000 wish lists before I launch? And I mean, if the answer is no, then I guess we might as well just have one last swing and do like a big marketing blast and email all the creators before we put it out and hope that Splattercat picks it up a couple of weeks earlier. And we might still get there. We don't know. The other thing is you've got Next Fest up your sleeve, I believe. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, so that's your other big marketing beat.
My idea is to combine the Splattercat, so the YouTuber emails, with the Steam Next Fest and a demo page release. Like, basically do a huge push for that Steam Next Fest and do as much marketing plus posts and everything that leads up to it. And then depending on the outcome of that, either it is successful or not. And if it's not, then I need to wrap it up, finish it, and start again. That's the idea. So
here's the good thing about Steam is that you could very well like release a very similar game to this in a short amount of time and do everything right as far as the Steam algo goes and like have a different result. I feel. Because I played the demo and like it was very tight, and you know there was some pretty cool little features there with like being able to upgrade each individual dude with whatever weapon you wanted and having the shop and everything like that. And then of course like they did have like the placement element too. So
I was gonna ask. There was an idea, but usually what you can do and I guess I need to pull, but it was a test over the weekend to gather some feedback, but essentially the placement idea didn't really do too hot, and it's free placement. Essentially, you can decide to place anywhere. So like in balloons, essentially. I wonder if it builds now,
Jeez,
but
chats, oh, chat, you guys, come on, be polite. So look, the reality is, like, if we are going to get 7,000, it's probably going to be if you get picked up by a big creator, and it's probably going to be with help from NextFest as well. So those are your two levers. So I'd really be pointing everything towards that. And then I think, you know, if it doesn't happen, you can probably make a pretty similar game, maybe try a different theme or something like that. It seems like, you know, you've got the solid foundation for a tower defense game.
Thank you.
The reality is, like, getting those beats that we were talking about earlier in order, we can compress the whole 2-3 year cycle down to 6 or 12 months or less. Right?
We can. So if I were to, I would probably put humans in instead of oranges.
Humans.
Yeah, I don't know yet, but probably.
I think like, rather than just human, like, you got to think a bit more like down another path. Like, are they Vikings? Are they pirates? Are they you know, like, go the next step deeper into the theme if they're humans? Like, humans are, like, I suppose, part of a theme, but I would definitely, like, think about what do you get excited about? Like, what TV shows and stuff do you watch? And, you know, like, what movies do you like? Like, what are the things that get you pumped?
Vikings.
Yeah, dude.
I like medieval stuff,
I would love
man.
to make a book.
Yeah.
Man, me too. I love. I also love pirates too, which is why Sea of Survivors was a lot of fun. I got to make, like, jaunty pirate music and shit. So that's part of, like, the you know, the Holy Trinity. My motivation is to, like, do this kind of shit. You know, is to make cool. I think that Steam also has very dark fans. Like, we like, us Steam players, we like to see very dark and, like, creepy sort of shit. We don't really always love. There's definitely, like, a big cohort of people that like, you know, your cozy, cute stuff, and, you know, the cute little guys and that kind of stuff. But I think even, like, with Gnomes, the juxtaposition of having cute little guys in, like, a sort of grimdark kind of world is something that grabs a lot of people. Yeah, the Darkest Dungeon TD. That's right. Like, that's kind of like, I guess one direction to look at. Like, Darkest Dungeon is quintessential Steam bait, really.
So what you're saying is literally use the name Darkest Dungeon TD. Isn't that a trademark issue? Wouldn't that get you in trouble?
I guess, like, Darkest Dungeons. How would you describe Darkest Dungeon, chat? It's like, it's medieval fantasy. There's flintlock pistols and shit though, so it's like, I don't know what, like, Renaissance period, but it's like during the Black Death or something, isn't it?
So basically, just the theme more go towards the theme, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, even Viking theme, you know, like, I think for me, like, I really think theme is so important, because if you don't nail your theme, like, it's 50% of your audience is gonna be drawn from the theme alone. I feel like there's a lot of people that played Sea of Survivors because it's a pirate game, and a lot of people that played Gnomes because it's a gnome game, not because of the rest of the things about it. Yeah, so but that's what I would be doing if I was in your position. Is I'd be thinking, what can I use from what I've learnt and what I've got in my code base, and, like, what can I make this next game into that's going to get me really fired up and pumped to play.
Good to know. Yeah, okay, thank you very much for the feedback. I really appreciate that. And you're right, so these are my only two levers left, because I've had this, I did the classic, essentially. You start making a game and you change it to A to B to C, and it just goes nowhere. Then you, at some point, you start learning, you put it out, and then you realize, oh goddamn, I should have done this so much earlier. But hey, at least we learn from the mistakes we do, and then we move on. And so hopefully, by the time October comes around, we have the game more or less in a place where it's showable, and we'll see what happens, right? Thank you very much. It's awesome. Appreciate the feedback.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for having me on, man. It's been so good to chat to you guys and chat, and yeah, thanks for all the support from everyone. It's really nice to get great feedback, and yeah, like I said, actually I don't know if I did say this, but if we are cooking, let me know, and I'll be happy to, you know, talk to you about your next project and all that kind of stuff. Like,
sure.
I really love seeing other people around me win. You know, that's there's plenty of, I like to say there's a really big slice of pie, and we just need the crumbs, man. That's it. So, yeah.
If you get a couple hundred reviews, then you're doing good.
That's right, especially if you're able to make, like, I'm so envious that you can make a game on your own. I just have always had to rely on another person. So anyway, I hope we can catch up again soon, and
sure.
You know, we're talking about both of us having a big banger of a hit next time, hey?
Hopefully, yeah. That would be great. We'll see. Hey. But
awesome
hey,
chat.
thank you.
See you guys. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much for joining. Peace. How did the call go? It was okay. Thank you. Awesome, guys. Was nice. Did you see the production value on the stream, guys? God damn. Hey. Ho, ho. Really cool. What an awesome dude. Yeah, very, very experienced. Like, so many great things to learn from as well. Gnomes, yeah, type gnomes in chat if you would like. If you would like to, let me see, participate in the giveaway. Okay, we have 2 more keys to give away for those of you who would like to play the game. Much to yoink. Yeah, he told us to yoink, guys. See? Told you. What do you mean the cam froze like every second? Oh, I don't think it froze every second, guys. It did freeze sometimes, yes, because I had him over on Discord. And when you don't highlight Discord, I guess it saves some memory or something. So we need to use a different video tool next time so we can see him. Well, other people as well that give interviews, right? Better. Darkest Yoink John. Nice interview, man. I'm glad you like it, bro. The water looks too purple. Stop talking about the water, okay? Everyone who is successful will tell you that yoinking is the way. Yeah, it is. It is. You're right, sir. You can change that in the settings. You can? Really? Where? Wait, can you even see this? You can. Let me turn off Discord so it's no longer capturing it. Next game, Gothic Cakes? No, next game will be, let's say, right, let's talk about this in a second though. Where can I change that? Rafi. Will you eventually try other themes for Tangy TD? Yeah, maybe. I'll actually try to do that, yeah. If the game doesn't have any appeal on Steam, changing the theme... You could keep the background. Not really. You would have to redraw the assets. But since... Let's say we were to do that, right? If this game doesn't do too hot with this current theme, and we redo it, going dark mode, essentially, we would redraw the assets and then try to stay consistent with the art style. Gambler's Fallacy? Difficult to say. We'll see. I don't know the future yet.
Don't be afraid of poor marketing.
I don't think the theme will make the 10x money.
Good game
I don't remember.
Will sell nonetheless. The money will come to you.
Thank you Ify66 for 5,000 bits.
Just
Go back
kidding.
to its roots.
Hola chat developers. Did you animate the water? Are you animating the water? Will you animate the water? When will you animate the water?
Difficult to say, yeah. I don't know
like
if it's...
self-promoting stuff, so if I receive downvotes or...
Okay, whatever. Let's not play the welcome messages from 2
Good
million
day.
years ago.
アンドグッドデイチャと
Anyways, keep your truths to yourself and do not help them.
Okay.
Fuck Cakez. Fuck pirated.
I mean, to go dark theme, just changing the palette to dark could be enough, yeah.
I don't like self-promoting stuff, so if I receive downvotes or this gets removed, I can totally understand that. However, it's really important for me to share.
Okay, no, it's enough. Okay, let's pause. I can't read anything. Basically, I'm being held hostage. How do you know the theme is the issue? Coding Green, I was about to answer. I don't know if the theme would be the issue. What I do know, though, is the following. Since the game has been on Steam for such a long time that the Steam algorithm and the way Steam handles demos changed, I have effectively wasted a bunch of visibility on Steam that I could have gotten if I did it differently. And so, for example, if I were to make a new Steam page with exactly the same game today and follow these basic principles that we talked about, which is you make a demo version, you play test that with some people you trust, and you gain feedback based on that so that the game doesn't crash all the time and it's in a really good playable state. Then you put it out on itch. You basically do a Steam page at the same day as on the itch page, and you link to the Steam page, like all of these things. And then on the itch page, you try to gather even more feedback to make sure the demo is very good. And then when you release your demo on Steam, you do a big push towards marketing. You ask people to play the game in YouTube videos. You ask streamers, YouTubers, whatever. You write these emails and you give them a week. Like all of these things that we talked about, I'm 90% confident I would be sitting at way more wish lists than I'm sitting at now. It's simple. It's simply just if something gets shown to more people, but the appeal is the same, then that will result in more people knowing about it. Animate to water for more wish lists. If your base is 100, no, I can't put in numbers. I don't know the numbers, how they would look like, but they would be higher than what I have now. Because right now, I feel like I'm fighting Steam's, like, wish lists. Sorry, not wish lists, impression system. I'll try the tag changes, and I'll ask him about specific tags and what I think about. I'll try to figure out some more tags myself first by making a bit more research. But I'll try to swap around some tags. Yo, my man, Mr. Why did it not? Oh, cause it. Here we go.
Inex. My man.
My man.
Thank you for $3. Oh, look at these tangerines. What a cozy, peaceful game. Oh, wait, it's hardcore TD with post-skill tree. Modrico, Modrico, Modrico,
No,
Modrico,
no,
Modrico,
no,
Modrico,
no,
Modrico.
No. Not modding Rico. Anyways, really cool. It's awesome to like see this is the stuff that I'm so happy to be able to do. And thank you very much, Null Exception, for making this a possibility, because if Null Exception didn't exist, we wouldn't be having this interview today. Guys, stop spamming. Do you feel held hostage by Tangy TD Cakez? No, if anything, it's my own will to see a project till the end. If anything, it's that. I can quit any day now. I'm not being held hostage by anything. But I feel like I need to see it through to the end to not repeat the same mistakes the next time. So for me, it sucks. And obviously I'll feel sad. let's say the reality is that I barely get, I don't know, 10 wish lists. And he said, wait, my wife's calling. She had a very important appointment. I need to go there. Sorry. Give me a sec. No, it's not baby number 2. It's not baby number 2. It's was a really important appointment though. Quitting feels so good. Something Cakes. You should try it. No, quitting doesn't feel good, in my opinion. Thank you very much, AQ, by the way, for pinning the giveaway. Guys, I'll choose another winner for the giveaway if some of you just joined. We are doing a giveaway for GNOMES keys. We have 2 more keys for the game on Steam. If you would like to play it, type GNOMES. Most of you should have already entered. There's quite a few entries, actually. 80 is a lot. It's like half the stream or something. So very active. I really appreciate that, you guys. I'm giving you a couple more seconds so you can enter. And then I'll write you privately on Twitch. Please respond, so I can validate that you're there. And then please let me know if the key worked too. Any keys for the pirate game? No, we don't have any keys for that. I didn't ask him for those. 40 out of those 80 already have the game. If you already have the game, please let me know, even if you're a winner, so we could choose another one, okay? That would be great. Okay, we'll be choosing another winner, my brothers. Good luck. Sloth X0, my man. Congratulations. Hopefully, you are here and you don't have the game. Who? Your mama. Cakez, I like the few days you worked on Tangy Survivors. It doesn't have to be in Godot, but this way you could apply your learnings to a new project, maybe for just 1 week. Great interview, by the way. Oh, hey, Arnosh, my man, I appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much. Glad you liked the interview, you guys. Yeah, I mean, we definitely have learned from some of the past interviews. We did do a couple of mistakes. I think this has been, so far, this has been the best interview that we did. There's always room to improve. I wonder how these other people do it when they have guests on. I think it's through Discord. Maybe my Discord is just set up badly. Let me actually write that down. Best part is when you left. Yeah, my wife's needs me. My wife needs me, bro. It's important. Today, Discord setting lag. Let's put that on 6 p.m. I didn't hijack the conversation. It was at the very end of a almost 3-hour call. You're wrong. Banned. And I'll play the notification just for you, bro. Boom. Bye. Thanks, it worked. Great. Okay, so last giveaway, guys. Last giveaway. Type in GNOMES in chat. It's the last key. Hi there, it's me, a viewer. For months I have checked. I've created the illusion you're streaming to a large audience. Okay, yeah, okay. Read that multiple times. All right, guys, 86. I'm choosing another winner. 3, 2, 1. I'm Ilmo. Hey, congratulations, my man. Followed 3 years ago. Congratulations, bro. Let me know if you're there. I'll write you. It could be that... you guys know who he is. Stop lying. Yo. Shale11, can you stop unfollowing, man? Lottery is rigged, boys. Thanks for having me, everyone. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, thanks for joining, man. Am I late for Tommy? You can watch it on YouTube. It's fine. So he's... well, we'll give him some time, right? Oh, by the way, guys. I heard that there was like a big purge of view botters, guys. Have you heard about that? How many viewers do I have? Does that mean I'm not view botting? Because I have about the same as I usually have. Like some people went down like multiple thousands. Asmongold has minus 20k views. Yeah, Asmongold. I mean, he wasn't he have like... It was like 50k he had, right? Tab 1 if you're a bot. Key leak. Oh, you mean here? He's not here. Yeah. I don't think Asmongold was view botting. He doesn't need it. I don't think Pirate Software was view botting either. Some agencies were botting their streamers to get a bigger cut, Cakez. Yeah, I know. Twitch tracker, Cakez. It's not about a need, it's like a booster, Cakez. Yeah, I know. About sponsorships, I know that. The biggest grifters are botting. Of course he was. Trump boosted Asmongold's views. You mean talking about politics? Yeah. Talking about politics gave him a big boost. Pregops, thank you very much for following. I think Cakez is view botting. There's no way he can get 180 viewers. That's too much. It's, I don't know, in software and game development. Oops, I clicked on something wrong. Jogan Gaming. Okay, that's not what I wanted to click on, bro. If you would stop lagging, then maybe I don't misclick. I think this category is just not that large. And on top of that, usually growth does not come from Twitch at all. It's just YouTube. Okay, guys. Your call. Shall we get another winner for the giveaway? Should we choose someone else? I'm not abusing the category at all. Quinn will save the category. No, you can have someone with 50,000 viewers in here. The people will not go to the category because they want to be in the category. The people will go to the person that is in the category. So we'll choose another one, another giveaway. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, my man. 6 months, Eritas. Yeah, I saw you before, my man. Appreciate that. You here, bro? Who? Your mama. You here? Rigged? I am. Awesome. Yeah, let me send you the last key, my friend. Awesome. So it looks like all of the keys worked. Even the one that I got. Great. Thank you very much, Tommy, for the keys. Good luck. It's a sock account, whatever that means, a sock account. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me know if the key worked, then I can move on. Peace. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Actually took the entire stream, and now I have to leave you guys. My wife needs my help, so I'm gonna drive over there, help her out. Demo update, Cakez, later. I'll do it tomorrow or the day after. Guys, I'm already cooked on Steam. I am already fucked. My Steam page is already destroyed. If I do the update now or tomorrow, it doesn't matter. It's already broken. So, can't get any worse, bro. The game is fucked, no fun? No, we can talk about that tomorrow. It's fine. We're not talking about it now. Have a good one. I'm now going to release my game. The next test. Oh, awesome. Code and agree. Congratulations. I'll try to whatever that's called. Play your game in the future too. Dev Spudges or Janet? Anyone else? Dev Spudges? Spudges? Pirate Software? Spudges? Okay. Dev Spudges. Hope you had a fun day. Hope that maybe you learned something today. Okay? If you liked it, let me know. Give me some positive feedback on YouTube, in Discord, whatever. Let me know. I'll try to talk to more people if we can, of course. And yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, guys. Thank you so much for the support.